What's the deal, YouTube? We're back with our weekly podcast, the best gaming-related podcast on YouTube all over the world. I'm fucking Saturn, Neptune, Venus, Uranus, motherfucking Narubu, the Anunnaki, the best motherfuckers in the world. But we got a special guest with us today. Give shout yourself, our special guest.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Shit. Tim, that's cool.
Yeah, he got cold feet, dude. He's like,
Uh-oh, I'm on the spot. Nah, that's my man Tim, man.
Thank you
for having me.
Let me know who you are.
Thank you very much. You guys know me from Twitter. I'm on Twitter. You can look up Tim Dog and search. Find me. Very active there.
Yeah.
I'm very appreciative that you guys came on so we could talk about this guy, Tyler.
yeah, okay. So for a lot of you guys that don't know, Tim Dog knows a lot of what goes on at NeoGaf. He used to be a member there, so he knows like all the ins and outs there. Like we, us four, don't really go there or anything like that, but he has a history there, and so knows exactly what's going on. And basically, what happened last year, and me and Next Gen were like, man, why did Microsoft do this? But they got denied or NeoGaf got denied media rights to go to E3. So Major Nelson invited them to go under the Microsoft E3 or whatever, but no strings attached. He made that perfectly clear in his post originally last year. And me and Next Gen were like, why would they do that? They hate you guys there. Why would you offer them that? But they, NeoGaf turned them down, and then it came out that this guy, Evil Lore, what's his name?
Tyler Malka.
Tyler. He's the actual owner of NeoGaf, right? So he posts.
Right.
He posted a response about this whole incident recently under this Kotaku article about how these places try to bribe them and things like that. And he says the most egregious recent example of attempted bribery was Major Nelson offering to get me and the NeoGaf staff into E3 last year after the ESA decided to no longer treat us as media. The offer was to come, quote-unquote, under the banner of Microsoft as, like, official Microsoft delegates. And he said he had a good laugh at that because he didn't want to compromise the neutrality of the site, which I had a good laugh at that because we all know that there is no neutrality at that site, and the fact that this guy is trying to play it off. And basically what happens is he's calling Microsoft as a corporation, not Major Nelson or not Phil Spencer, not the Xbox division. Microsoft has this huge hundreds of billions of dollar corporation. He's accusing them of bribery, which is libel in every way imaginable. And Tim Dog, what are your thoughts on this? Can you give us?
Well, you are correct. I used to definitely go to NeoGaf all the time. I know a lot about it. I know a lot of posters there. I was actually banned there because I said that I agree with Ledbetter on 5 gigabits of for gaming as opposed to 6, which was being pushed out by Thuwei and Kagari and all the mods. Turned out that I was right and Ledbetter was right. But anyway, I stopped going after this whole incident. That's how much it turned me off. I don't even click them. And I hope that all Xbox fans that consider themselves an Xbox fans do not give that place any clicks, because this whole thing that just happened was a complete bullshit. Okay, yeah. Tyler does not like Microsoft. Bish, the head mod, we all know Bish Hammer, they all make the jokes. He does not like Microsoft. They do AstroTurf for Sony. Okay, that is the truth. Okay, now if people don't know that, they're just not in touch. And this thing topped it off for me. Basically, after I heard the whole thing with the bra, somebody posted it to me. I think Slang posted it to me, and I just fucking went off. And I started tweeting Larry about fucking 15 times. And he must have saw my tweet, because he actually said a member of the community sent it to him, because they were saying you like Kotaku, because they were trying to bash him like they always do.
And Larry said he doesn't go there. I thought that was great.
Right, yeah. Which he probably doesn't. But then he responded, basically, you have the response, right, Crap?
Hold on. I had it up for a second, but then I lost his response. Holy crap.
Do your job, bitch.
Come on, producer. Get it together.
Well, can you summarize what he said?
Basically, what he said, he took issue with the word bribe, and that he would never do that under the statements. Like he basically his first tweet, his first post on NeoGaf said no strings attached. It was clear as day. I saw that live, and I didn't think anything of bribery.
Like Major Nelson's original post in 2014, May 20th, he says, okay, let's fix this. I'll get you invited to the Microsoft press briefing, and I'll set you up to attend the E3 Expo as a guest of Microsoft. There'll be no strings attached and no expectations of coverage, just to be fair. And then he says, PM me if interested. That was his original tweet last year. And then
Tyler said, I won't do anything like that for the neutrality of this site, which is a fucking bullshit, because we all know that they don't like Microsoft, and they mod against Xbox fans. And that's basically what he said. So then, a year later, he comes out and says bribery, and then Major Nelson comes back and says, I take issue with that. There was no strings. And then Tyler,
I have this real quick. All right, this is Major Nelson's recent reply. He says, "I take issue with your choice of the word bribe. At no time did I ever imply or otherwise infer that I would expect coverage, let alone dictate the tone or tenor of said coverage. Whatever you choose to say or write otherwise to do, cover the event or not at all, was entirely up to you. I said it then and I'll say it again. This was 100% no strings attached. Professional courtesy I was extending to another member of the community. No expectations were implied." And he says he wanted to make sure you could see in person the Xbox briefing so you could draw your own conclusions. How or if you shared them was entirely up to you. That was it. No strings attached, period.
Now, crap, let me ask you a question, because I want to get Tim Dog's input on this too, because it was talked about a lot in the past 24 hours on Twitter, and I had a pretty in-depth conversation with Stinger and Worry about this offline. And I want to get your guys' impression. This is the third time or fourth time since the Xbox One launch where Microsoft is just basically politely and very, very politically correct, swept it under the rug, and basically moved on from something like this where we know there's something liable here and it can be held in court. We have a $350 billion company in Microsoft, and we've got pimple little kids running NeoGaf. And why isn't it? Is it time, you guys think, that we should see Microsoft start to flex their muscles so that? Because what happens is when you don't, and you just, and again, Worry was pushing this hardcore, was that you can't have a big company being pushed around by these kids. And it's time to finally, I think, once and for all, it doesn't mean they're going to actually follow through with the lawsuit. That's not even where I'm going. But let's take Apple, for example. Exactly. If anybody like Samsung, their biggest competitor in certain areas, says anything against Apple, you immediately see it on Twitter. Apple sends lawsuit to Samsung. Now, that doesn't make it to court 9 out of 10 times. It's just something where you put the fear of God into them, they retract or revoke, so that way NeoGaf or this guy would have actually came out and said, hey, by the way, what I said, I didn't actually mean it like that, and then it looks like he's eating his own words, and it shows the non-credibility of this site. That's where I think Microsoft, myself personally, I'm in agreement where I think Microsoft should send their lawyers in to not necessarily crush them, but literally just kind of put a little bit of fear of God in them. What do you guys think?
Hey, Mooch, listen here. You got the Black Knight right here speaking. Black Knight show. Listen here. Now, I've been saying this from day one. And listen, now, I'm not claiming to be the voice of anything, but I've been out there fighting that fight, with these videos. And,
that's right.
And I'm going to be honest, like I said, what bothers me more about anything like that, with Major Nelson, you take a site like with NeoGaf, and now listen, don't get me wrong, we all partake, quote-unquote, in this console war for shits and giggles, right?
Right.
You have a site like NeoGaf, which spews nothing but hate, lies. I mean, and when these lies come out, they get passed around like law. You understand what I'm saying? Microsoft did everything was, slap somebody's grandmother and cause her to, break a pacemaker or some shit. You know what I mean? Microsoft needs to stop with this whole nice guy shit. That whole Martin Luther King. Sometimes you got to turn to Malcolm X on the ass, man. Like, no. It's like
by any means necessary.
Bro, listen, I'm a gamer. I've always been a gamer, always been a multi-console gamer, but I'm an Xbox dude through and through. You understand what I'm saying? But like Phil Smith, they need to stop with that squeaky clean shit and. We shall overcome. Stop that shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You like you got these 15, 60, they don't like you. I don't give a fuck. They can make the Xbox One $100. Motherfuckers still will have something negative to say.
Yes.
Yeah.
No matter.
You know,
Well,
my problem with the whole thing, Next Gen and everybody, is that this is a credible site. You know what I'm saying? And they are sitting out here spewing out lies. Well, to gamers, they consider it as a credible site.
Okay.
I'm not sitting here saying I'm not. So when you say it's being passed off as law, you know, a lot of gamers get their articles, especially a lot of YouTubers, a lot of just everybody go to NeoGaf and get their source of information. So when you think of your source of information, where you get it from, it's from 3 sites pretty much, basically, you know. So, and there are one of them. So when you go there, you looking for information, you get your information, and you speak on it. It becomes as a credible source for reliable news. And when they out here doing this type of stuff, this is bad. So what this generation, this console war showed me, that nobody can be trusted. They pulled the covers off of what's been happening, and what's been happening as far as marketing to us, you know, where these gaming sites and people can lie to us and tell us a whole lot of whatnots, and we believed it. Yeah. And it was just all a lie. So I don't trust nothing that comes from this site no more. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't trust nothing that comes from M4G. I don't trust nothing that comes from, because normally 9 times out of 10, the people that's writing it's just ordinary people. You know, just trying to get hits and get their name built up. At the end of the day, it's just like YouTube. So I don't trust that stuff no more, man. It's just, this type of stuff comes out like this, it's just bogus. It has to be a better structure for reliable sources to get out about these companies and what's happening with them, and not just taking jab because it's the bad corporation of Microsoft.
You know what? This is what I don't understand. The whole, and I say the whole, but the gaming community, I would say the vocal minority. You know what I mean? Let's be honest here. It's the hardcore gamers that are here. You don't see. It's the casual gamers that rule the industry. You understand what I'm saying? It's not the casual gamer that watch E3 and all that. I told you before, Microsoft kind of missed their target when they're unveiling all that TV, which is cool. No one buys a console just to play games. We all watch it. We all do the multitasking stuff. But that wasn't that type of audience that was watching the unveil. That was hardcore gamer. But as I was saying, I think at the end of the day, I got to keep it real here, though. You know what I mean? What Microsoft needs to do, honestly, and they said they the big bad, how you say, quote unquote, the big bad, the gangster town, and Microsoft. Everyone said Microsoft was what's bad for gaming. Look at all the great things that Microsoft has done for gaming. We have broadband gaming for consoles, standard, voice standard, gaming like standard, a marketplace. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Movies, voice chat, gaming like joystick. Microsoft brought all that shit. It seems like it was here. Like I told you before, like Nintendo was the grandfather of gaming. You can't take that from them. But like I said, for them to be the grandfather again, they're so far back behind the corner, upon the curve. It seems like Microsoft was always pushing.
That's a good point. What has Sony actually innovated? We give Sony a lot of credit, all of us, and I was part of that group too. We all have PS2s. I understand that was part of that era. But all they really did was lock down third-party contracts. Congratulations. That's that slow clap again. You know what I mean? What the? I mean, I don't understand why are we lighting a match so many years later to these people when you just actually, Z, I'm so glad you brought that. I never really thought about it that way. Microsoft's one that innovated all of these things that we take for granted today. Yes. And then Sony just, boom, same thing they did with following Nintendo with the Wii remote and doing with the Move sticks and all this other stuff. Now they've also incorporated all Microsoft's technologies of the 360 and X1 OG. There's nothing really coming out of Sony. Now they're going to go ahead and throw this headset at us, this VR headset supposed to be I'm supposed to go wear a motorcycle helmet at night? Get out of here, man. I just don't see where this, this country, I don't see where, people get off on giving Sony this, pass. They got this pass, and the media has latched onto it, and it's like the 4 or 5 of us and a handful of others fighting the media. It's just unbelievable, and I don't see where they're getting this credit.
Well, being that there's been no story about this in the IGN is an absolute fucking disaster. And when Larry made that response, Tyler came back, and we didn't talk about this. And Mooch, I do think Phil Spencer should comment on this on Twitter.
Yes.
I really do. I do think he should back up one of his members of his team.
Absolutely,
basically thrown to the wolves. With that type of barbed statement, but basically Tyler said that, the reason why he thought it was bribery was because of a fucking handshake, because he didn't like the handshake that Major Nelson gave him.
Hey, you know what, Tim? You know what though, Tim? This is the thing, and I always say this too. If it hadn't have been DRM or a price or Force, they would have always still found something to hate on, no matter what. They would have. It could have been anything. They would have hated on, and they do. The look of the Xbox One, or they find a reason, no matter what that reason is. So the guy just was using that as it's a flimsy ass excuse, and it shows the mentality of the owner of that site. And a lot of people ask me, because I did a video on this subject today, oh well, where is all this media bias? I can tell you right now, what was the place? NeoGaf was the place that was running all this stuff. They had this fake insider C-boat and Theway and
famous for the
Hey, Tim Dog, you took them all down too, bro.
What were some of the bigger ones? What were some of the bigger lies that they told? There was a lot of lies.
Well, like the one that I got banned for, that 6 gigabits for gaming. That was passed by the media too. That was true when it wasn't fucking true. You had Digital Foundry saying it's 4.5 gigabits, and then you have a gigabit for flex max memory for games. They fucking
the PS4,
right. They pushed the agenda, and they actually swayed the fucking media. If you looked at that, it was 6 gigabits. So now you have all these casuals saying, "Oh well, 6 gigabits to 5, another point for Sony."
Tim, I forgot the guy's names from the developer of Battlefield, DICE.
Johansson.
Yeah, you can't, when it comes to console gaming, you can't use more than 6 or it's gigs for gaming, because it said you're beginning to pull back. You know what I mean? Now, just think of it like this in layman's terms. If, because the OS, see, this was the thing Sony didn't say when it came out. The operating system they're using just as much a system resource hog as Windows. You know what I mean?
Right.
The fact that if we all, besides Tim and we all do videos here, you try to render in a goddamn video with 1 gigabyte of RAM. You understand? So all that recording, gameplay, and all that shit eats up the system, resources. But still, that's a lot of. We're talking about a closed environment, a console, not a fucking PC. You got games on PCs that don't use 4 gigs of fucking RAM. You understand what I'm saying?
Exactly. So but they're not educating. They're basically just putting bad information about Microsoft. They constantly have been doing this since. Yeah. I mean, the reason why I got into Twitter was because I always remember Theway saying that the down clock was real, and Senzishu, the guy, he's on Twitter right now, said no. His sources told him that the down clock was not true. This is pre-console when they launched, and they banned Senzitsu, okay? And Theway basically was pushed as the more credible source. You know what happened? They fucking upclocked it, okay? Yeah. It's been upclocked. So that's what you're dealing with. And as sad as it is, these fucking places like IGN, they don't do any fucking work. They don't do that. They don't know the stories. You guys are the first to go. I'm out there the first to go. We push it out. We put our own opinions. They basically have an opinion formulated by NeoGaf and their fucking henchmen, and they're modding against any kind of Xbox talk, because when the debate comes, fucking guys get banned left and right that are pro Xbox.
And then I hear that all the time. How people are like, "I got banned," and I'm like, "Well, what'd you do?" And they're like, "Well, I had said that I enjoyed this game on Xbox," or you know what I mean? It's like, wow, you can't even say
why is it that
enjoy something.
What's going on? The other thing I'm just curious about is we've got N4G, we've got NeoGaf, but we don't have nothing that's like everybody knows, like the writing's on the wall. We know that Sony. Fine, they're not cutting them a check, but they're pro Sony. How come there's no pro Xbox that has that kind of pull?
You know what? I really think Xbox Mad should have that.
Well, I think Xbox Mad should as well.
You should. You know what I'm saying? I'm just
that clout. We don't have that power
nope.
yet.
You know why? Because it ain't got the backing. You know what I'm saying? Microsoft get behind them and back what's going on in the community. You know what I'm saying? We will have that voice. We will have that power. But because they're not backed, you know, it is what it is.
You gotta look. You gotta look at it the way. You know, nobody's saying everything hands off. Now, Aaron is one guy I think that will be a little feisty and say something. But basically, all this stuff goes untouched. You know what? It's time to maybe just, you know, I mean, I'm not asking for everything that NeoGaf puts out to put a comment, but this you really should. I see members of the community. I mean, they also have the story about Phantom Dust. And how Ken Lob lied another barb from a developer that's obviously going to be upset because they were taken off the project. Now you know that there's a second side to that story.
Absolutely.
Now, not only is there a second side, but that same site ran a story on the Ori on Moon Studios. They did a Moon Studios interview where Moon Studios was skeptical about that whole thing because he says making a AAA-looking game for $5 million seems kind of low to him. You know what I mean? Especially for one that has multiplayer and single player. So I would assume that they would know better than anybody. Like all these people put out these negative perceptions about Microsoft and developers, and here's one that said, "Hey, not only did we have a great relationship, but we told Microsoft no on some of their suggestions, and they were fine with it."
Right. And how many times has this actually happened? Can you tell me another? I don't even remember.
It's been happening a bunch throughout the console, the launch of the Xbox One.
Right, no, but I'm saying how many times has a game been in development and it's been halted because they changed developers? It doesn't happen a lot, is my point.
Yeah.
So there's something. How do you know?
But every time it does, people are like, look there. See, Microsoft, bad. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But here's the thing, in the grand scheme of things, even going back to the website, you know, with Forza having the backing, I'm always like you, Tim, you may not know, but I'm always the last to know about. Say, did you read this? No, I don't go to those fucking sites, man.
No, you
I don't
haven't.
fucking all those, you know, IGN. Let me tell you something. Like, you know, I'm gonna keep it real. Like I said, I stumbled upon this community, and I used to fuck with the Nintendo dudes. I didn't know Roman played the Wii. Yada 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 yada. I used to make fun of them, just, you know, for shits and giggles. And, you know, and then after the unveiling, there's no secret, Microsoft kind of fell flat on their face. They kind of misjudged the audience, the demographic that's going to be watching their unveiling. It was the hardcore gamer there looking for the new games, and they came out talking about the features, what I love to death. I can imagine not having my features that I have now on my Xbox One. Now, with that being said, but then, you know, I look at E3, and you say, you know, and Microsoft said, yeah, we're going to kill it. It's all going to be about the games. And they showed nothing but games, exclusive games. Then, but you had Sony that came out, you know, which they unveiling was better than their E3, I'm being honest. And they talked about, you know, a lot of other shit, apps, and fucking, they were parading around multiplex as exclusives. So, you know, then they said, you know, they won E3 because of a policy. Since when has E3 been about policies? It's always been about the games. You understand what I'm saying? And then when I seen that, then even with the whole DRM, which I never had a problem with DRM. And I think it's like I told you before, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. Had Microsoft explained it better and had a better front man, then cool. But they could say, and listen, I was probably one of the few motherfuckers saying here, it's like there's no way in hell that Ubisoft was going to protect its $75 million investment on the Xbox One and not do the same thing on the PlayStation. That makes no sense. You understand what I'm saying? You know, and Microsoft said this is something that third party asked for. You know what I mean? And you know, so you know, Sony sort of backlash and step back. But once it came out that Sony was going to do it too, it's still bad Microsoft. We try to screw us with the deal. Like, what the fuck? Like, you know what I mean? Here it is, and even Jack Tritton said all they said is we won't. So you know, we won't for their first party games. We won't restrict you. But if third party wants to do so, you fine. We have something in place for them. They can do, you know, they can do that. You know what I mean? So, like I said, it's very, very biased. But as Xbox fans, we have to stick together. We never said we all got to sing Kumbaya, but If you want this shit, stop going to those sites. Like when GameSpot put up that bullshit, that article from some, they don't let the Xbox because they can't go to the settings and all that dumb shit. Like, come on.
I remember that trash.
I'll be real with you.
I remember that trash.
He's been saying that for a long time now. He's been saying, don't go to these people, don't give them those clicks. Ever since they came out with they couldn't find the start button and the settings key, I have not gone back to GameSpot.
Yeah, I haven't went back to.
Yeah, I definitely. I mean, I posted maybe.
That was a blatant. That's a blatant form of literally showing your true colors without actually coming out and posting it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they had a bunch of inaccuracies in that whole entire
come
video.
on, man. The whole staff couldn't find the settings.
you know what that was like? They sat down a bunch of people. They said, "Here's an Xbox One. We're going live in 3 minutes. You know what I mean? You're gonna give us your take on this." And they wasn't
it like a year later or something like that when they had did it, and it was updates and everything that don't happen to this dang on console since then.
So they didn't know. You know what I mean? You could tell that those people had no clue about anything Xbox One related. It was terrible.
And I had direct messaged Phil about that situation. And I did talk to Phil about that, with GameStop, and he said he wasn't happy with it, but he says he was in a tough position that he couldn't comment. Now, but obviously because maybe there's things that happen that he has deals or whatever. But in a situation, back to this, the high road is most of the time I like that. That's fine. I respect that about Phil, but I really think that something has to be said in regards to this. Now, Larry's probably moved on, but I'm sorry. That is just what's next?
Hey, do you agree with this? All right, maybe Microsoft and Phil should sit people down and developers that they're close with and say, hey, don't go to that site. Don't make them relevant anymore. Don't talk to them. Blackball them. That's what I would do. Because who do you think carries more clout? Microsoft or NeoGaf?
Is that because, all honesty, when they're spewing that hate against Microsoft or trying to discredit, they're also hurting third party because those sales that could be going to buying games. But honestly, this is the real shit. I understand that Phil is a multi-trillion billion-dollar company, but goddamn, to me, like I said, the day, the casual dude don't care. They don't know what the hell's going on. They believe it's all this shit. But like I said, it's the vocal minority here. They really, really need something. You know what I mean? Not saying they're gonna be nasty and digging it, but they something like that's and being real. I'm not hating, but NeoGaf, come on, look at all that hell they're talking about raping the actress and fucking,
Tomb
Raider. Like that fucking. That's why they got their E3 shit. It does nothing but hate come out of there. The one guy talking about the one developer wasted so much of Sony's money, come to find out the guy's son was dying and sick or some shit.
Yeah, like, famous Mortimer. Famous.
Yeah, that was famous. Mortimer said that he got fired because he wasn't getting the job done or whatever. You know what I mean? And it turned out that he left for family, personal reasons or whatever. Because cameras control everything.
Yeah, but that's what that site does. That's what it's known for. You know, even if developers, if they're still going to that fucking site, they need to cut this shit, you know what I mean? Because, come on.
Well, listen, I don't know if it's ever going to get to that point. I don't think Phil will go that. But as Xbox fans, I really, if you consider yourself an Xbox fan, that place is not doing Xbox any good. And I really think Phil and the rest of the Xbox team should know that because they're not doing Microsoft any kind of favors. If Phil came out tomorrow and said, fuck this place, NeoGaf, and he wrote some crazy thing, you know what? It probably would have a better effect than just fucking ignoring it.
Yes.
When you don't address something like you guys said, something like that, and it's not picked up, it just goes under the carpet. But when you have the situation where if this was the shoe on the other foot, let's just pretend that this was Microsoft that said bribery. Do you realize how on fire that fucking site would be? And they would demand a statement. And you know what's sad is they probably would get a statement because they would cause so much fucking ruckus that everyone would start crying about it, and then you would get the statement. Now that it's the other way, they're trying to brush it under the carpet. They're attacking me, saying this and that, going after me. You can't defend that. If somebody fucking doesn't like a handshake and says that's bribery, and you're the head of an influential site, that's a fucking problem.
Anybody who's listening to this podcast that doesn't understand what we're saying, the point is look at the scrutiny that Sony should have been under for all that stuff they went through with the movie The Interview, and then releasing tons and tons. They lost people's social security numbers, confidential information of big-time stars in Hollywood. So there was big players, there were small players, and all of that was really, don't get me wrong, it was around. It was in the news for a week or two, but it was swept under the rug again. Don't worry about it, everybody. Sony's going to be okay.
No,
if that was Microsoft, oh my God, we'd still be paying for it.
Hey, Mooch, but listen, fuck the fucking, what do you call it, the social security numbers and the paychecks and the racial shit.
Yeah, how about that?
Like, yo, what the fuck goes on behind closed doors over in Hollywood?
Nobody's even talking about that shit now. Nobody's even talking about it.
Yo, like that been fucking Microsoft with some shit like that.
We're not even talking about something that went down 3 months ago, but we're still talking about DRM.
Right.
That's what we're talking about?
Hey, it's not 2013 anymore. Move on. You know what I mean?
You know what they said? Well, that's not Sony. That's the video game department. That's the movie. That's the movie department.
Yeah.
That's not
call me when it's the gaming department.
And the thing is that, like I said, when you have moderators like, and I'll name them, Y2Kev, he's a Sony fanboy. Bish hates Microsoft, hates them. All the NeoGaf members know that, and that's your top mod, okay? And then you have Kagari, that she's another hater of Xbox, really bad. And you have them modding. They're controlling the narrative, okay? Because all the developers and IGN who doesn't do their work and these other sites are reading it, and it does have an effect. And again, it's the same shit. They brush anything under for Sony under the carpet. With Microsoft power consumption, holy fucking shit, $6 more a year. Let's fucking blast these motherfuckers. And then Microsoft has to come up with, they came up with the fix, and it's like, oh, okay, no, let's not even report it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they actually came through. They put something through in an update that gives you an option for that, and nobody's reported that it's been, remedied or anything like that.
It's not redacted like the original article that made the rounds wasn't redacted.
Yeah, basically where they said Microsoft was responsible for global warming. that was basically the bottom line. Hey, guess what, guys? This is costing you a whole $6 a year if you leave it as is. Did you know that?
And this isn't no conspiracy shit. This is not conspiracy shit. I know NeoGaf posters on there, Vern and Steve and all those guys and Stratum. They're the only guys that actually make Xbox posts on there. Otherwise, I don't even think that Xbox would even get play. But those guys, they can't really say what they want, and it's sad.
You know how you could tell that place is bad, and somebody's mic is echoey. I don't know whose it is, but anyway.
Zaire has Z, is that you who's playing us in the background? Someone's playing the show. You're hearing an echo.
I got headsets on.
Wait, maybe people I got you guys coming through the screen. Maybe it might be coming through my.
That might be what it is.
Oh, but that's the only place lately that where you see people call it the goddamn X-Bone. I don't hear people call it that anymore, and that's the place. You'll X-Bone this, X-Bone that. I'm like, are you kidding me? Is this 2013? Those people are like so stuck in the past, man. That's just like X-Bone. Get out of here. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Well, anything negative, anything to make a joke or to kick dirt on Microsoft is allowed, and then Sony's protected. I remember Kagari, the Drive Club, the thread came out, and Rise, when Rise came out, that game was, bastardized on that site. It was killed. Yeah. It was made fun of, on and on. But when Drive Club came out, you knew that there was a problem. She said the 6 posts in, she says watch trolling, and she set the guidelines down. So there is a different set of rules for Sony, and there's a different set of rules for Microsoft. It is not a conspiracy. It's real.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that I know Aaron knows it, because I've talked to Aaron, and I've basically.
Everyone knows.
Aaron's a smart guy. Like Aaron, people don't realize this, but he's watched our show before. I'm sure. Look, we're not the show that they're gonna publicly go hey, those are the real Xbox community right there. But I can guarantee they're thinking it. You know what I mean? We're the ones that are saying, "Hey, this is messed up." You know,
Well,
we're
this
not
is
like,
real
"Hey."
talk, and nobody else has really picked this up. And I waited 3 days. I didn't see even a fucking game. I didn't even see a game. What's that cheesy site that always has everything? Nothing had it up. Gaming Bolt or whatever. That didn't have it up. I thought maybe they'd have something. I mean, to have nothing said about that is just, it just shows you the atmosphere of what's going on. And right now, Xbox, we were talking this pre-show, is getting kicked on because, you know, it's been a dry quarter 1, and Sony's had a lot of, you know, it had Bloodborne basically, and that's a big game. But you're going to see in the holiday how things change, and how, well, I bet the media starts to maybe start to move it around, but because Xbox is going to have a lot of games coming out, big games, and I don't really see Sony matching them. Or even
Well, this is the funny part. The media is like really quick to jump on Microsoft, and like even last year, Sony had one of the worst holiday lineups I've ever seen in 26 years of gaming. They had one of the worst. It was just terrible. And the only one site, which was weird, Eurogamer said something about it, and that blew my mind when they actually said that, where they brought up the fact that they had the worst game lineup, exclusive lineup ever, and that eventually gamers would wise up. Well, you know, look. People are weird. They like popular things. Their friends get it, so they buy it. They're sheep. It happens. It doesn't, you know, it's an okay console, but it does blow my mind a little bit that so many people are just quick to grab a PS4. You know what I mean? Like, I bought one, and I don't even know why. You know what I mean? You just buy shit. You know what I'm saying? And I don't really rightly understand all the aspects behind it, but I do know that eventually, you know, they're going to be 3 years in before you get your first Uncharted, before you get your first new God of War. You could be 4 years in. Your first Gran Turismo. You're
2019.
You're talking about 4 or 5 years. You know what I'm saying? So why, if you're a gamer, why do you keep putting up with waiting for all your stuff? You know what I mean? Like, what other group of people does that? You know, like I did a video called 10 Reasons Why I Hate PS4. I did a video for 10 Reasons Why I Hate Everything, really, but the PS4 crowd are unwilling to accept any faults with the PlayStation 4. They don't accept it. Nothing. Right? They don't accept it at all. Then I did the 10 things I hate about Xbox One. Not only did they not find faults with PS4, but they kept on trying to pile on for the reasons on the Xbox One. You know what I'm saying? So they're like the most insecure, aside from PC fanboys, they're the most insecure bunch of people I've ever seen in my life. Look, the Xbox fans on the video that I did, they were like, yeah, install times need to get better. That you're right on this, you're right on this. They're willing to admit, hey, it's not perfect, they can get better. You know what I mean? And then what was really funny was I saw a tweet come up where Sony was like, hey, we're looking into getting a feedback thing going on so we can implement things. And Warrior, of all people, replied and said, you need people to actually think something was wrong for that to work. And I was like, holy shit, Warrior. I was like, Warrior done went in because he usually doesn't, but he hit the nail on the head with that because Sony fans will not admit anything's wrong. They won't do it. And just like this goes back to NeoGaf. Remember when Sony said EA Access doesn't represent value for our consumers? They actually damage controlled that by a moderator on NeoGaf.
Bish, yeah.
Yes. Like they're like, yeah, you're right. It's not you know, whatever, you know what I'm saying? It's not good value. I'm like, are you kidding me? Basically, it is. It's great value.
Isn't Sony 2 for 2 in 2015? 2 major updates, 2 times bricked all their systems, or a good.
They've only done 1 update. I'm sure they're gonna brick more consoles. People, just stay tuned. You know.
Yeah, that brick is coming.
The year
it's in a theater near you. It's called bricking.
If you can get it yet, it's on the way.
Breaking is coming. Somebody need to turn down their thing if they're watching it live, because you can hear it.
I have mine. I'm on headphones.
I am too. I don't know whose that is.
I'm on headphones.
I don't have the page open, but I got to turn to the PC. I got my mic on the phone. Let me ask you a question, Tim. You know, your guest for the day. Let me ask you a question. This holiday season. Now, do you own a PlayStation 4, Tim?
Yes.
Okay, you're both multi-console gamer. Like I said, I'm just asking you a question now. For the most part, you're Xbox dude, right?
Yeah.
But you are a gamer. If Sony has something nice, you're playing, right?
Right, 100%.
It's going by this holiday season, from what we know right now, you know, Do you think maybe, just maybe, Sony should have pushed their Bloodborne back to compete with Microsoft this holiday season? Like, I'm spinning my head, like, really, what's coming out with the PlayStation 4? You know, we got the rumored, you know, the Uncharted trilogy and, you know, maybe Beyond Two Souls. But what do you think about that?
Well, listen, I don't think they expected the Uncharted to get knocked back. That would have been a worthy holiday because you have a real next gen game with a really good developer. You know, I think right now they're riding it out. I don't know. I think that I mean, right now, obviously E3 hasn't hit, and I argue with people like they're like, well, you don't think so? You don't think Microsoft's going to name things that we don't know about, or you don't think that things aren't coming from Microsoft? But I don't think you're going to get a game on that level of a Halo 5 in the holiday. So, I mean, listen, if Halo 5 doesn't move consoles and this holiday doesn't, I mean, I really think that Microsoft's going to wipe the floor with PS4 this holiday, you know, with the games that they have going in the lineup. And I'm sure that they'll have a bundle console, maybe Tomb Raider, Halo 5. If that doesn't work, I mean, then it's just I don't know what really more you could do because Sony has nothing. You know, people say, well, they got Gia, probably a game they never played.
So Rico 5 is on the way.
Persona 5. Now, Persona 5 is okay. That's a popular game with some people, but it's a fucking Vita engine game. I mean, there's nothing next gen about it. Next gen is Halo 5.
Yeah.
Is Tomb Raider.
There's
those are heavy hitters. A Quantum Break. Uncharted 4 is a heavy hitter. Bloodborne, it now is a heavy hitter. I mean, it never really had it's had critical success and it looks like it's done well in sales, but
they haven't announced sales though, so it must not have hit $1 billion yet.
Well, listen, even if Bloodborne was pushed back to the holiday, I think that you know, it's not going to compare to what Microsoft has coming. I mean, they have Forza. It looks like it's going to be a new engine, and it looks like it's going to be built from the ground up. It's probably going to be DirectX 12. It's probably going to fucking blow your mind. It's probably going to be 1080p, 60 frames per second, and it's going to be good. Then you have Halo 5, which everyone's fucking going crazy about. You're gonna play as Locke. That looks like that's gonna grab at least the MPD market. I really can't see Microsoft losing December and November. I think they're gonna see a repeat, and they might win October. They should.
You know, Tim, I think they're gonna win October and November.
Yeah, October 27th is coming out, so you're gonna get a real push.
Yeah.
But Sony's not going to really have anything. They can name all these fucking games that they probably don't even play. Like, people name Deep Down as a game, and they're in America. I'm like, that game's not even coming here yet. I mean, how the fuck are you naming that? I mean, so it's like the Sony, like you guys said, the Sony fans, I've noticed, they'll protect anything at all costs. They're protecting this fucking fraud, Tyler, who just threw out a bond that, you know, they're protecting him. I mean, and that's Sony. That goes. You talk about, it's not true because it's popular. Then why are you protecting that? What's wrong is wrong. That is wrong. Okay, if a handshake doesn't equates to bribery, I don't know what fucking world they live in. Okay, that's wrong. You don't defend wrong. And Sony fans and NeoGaf defended Tyler. People should have called him out. They're afraid to on NeoGaf. The only people that called him out was probably us, me particularly. I went fucking bananas because what's wrong is wrong, okay? If Microsoft, I'll give it to Xbox fans. Listen to us. We're like, Phil, what the fuck? You know, free high road, okay. Well, why don't you say something? I never see the Sony fanboys don't even tweet Yoshida. They tweet Phil. Yeah. I mean, it's unfucking real. It's a warped reality. But the fact of the matter is, you know.
Did you see who was that? Major Nelson uses this app called Periscope, I guess, where like you can interact with people or whatever. There's like a chat that goes on there, and people are really mean to this guy. Like no matter what it is, right? No matter who the Xbox dude is, you get assholes that jump in there and start talking bullshit about PlayStation 4. But while you can watch anything PlayStation related and nobody says anything negative, like one time I tweeted,
I'm gonna say this: they real good at filtering it.
Yeah,
on the Sony side, man. They would ban you and block you in a heartbeat, bro. They would get you out of there.
One time, like it was something like a legitimate question about something, and he blocked me. You know what I mean? It's like, and Phil Spencer's like, no, we like people complaining. You know, let us know if there's a problem. You know what? You know what I'm saying? Like he does that. You know what I'm saying? It's like he listens. Look how fast they implemented that easy thing for the you know, probably just was something that they overlooked. But the whole time or the energy saver thing, they probably, you know what I'm saying? They got a lot going on. But how fast? That was like a week turnaround on that. You know what I'm saying?
Nothing's ever talked about that. How they just push that out. I mean, it's a very good point that you make, because that's talked about, and then 6 days later, their team is pushing it out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's crazy. Like, look, maybe if PS4 fans said, hey, you know, I'm a YouTuber and I'm trying to use my capture card on the PS4, and you guys make it almost impossible because you got HTTP link that you have to manually switch every time you record.
Crap, take us through the actual procedure you go through.
Okay, so what I do is, like, I have a Roxio HD, right? So basically, you plug that into your PC, then you plug your PS4 into the Roxio, and then you plug another HDMI from the Roxio to the TV, right? But to do that, you have to have it. You can't do that first. You have to plug in the PS4 by itself, scroll down to settings, switch HTTP settings off, then unplug that and reboot it. Plug that into the Roxio, restart everything, my PC and everything too, and then it'll come up as HTTP off, and then you can record. It takes about like 15-20 minutes for me to set that up, right? And then when I'm done with all that and I just want to game on it, you can't really like do anything like use the Netflix or YouTube or anything like that media related with that on. So you have to go back into it. Yeah, I'm telling you.
So hold on,
now, you know what you do? You know what you do on Xbox One? You just fucking switch it. You don't do anything. It just does it for you.
Now hold on a minute. Now let's go back a few months ago, guys. Remember, we had a really hard time finding the settings on Xbox One. We could not find that. All right?
I haven't seen settings.
That's the best thing right there.
Right, Tim? A company that captures footage for a business has not reported the nuisance of going in and shutting off that HTTP. That is what boggles my mind.
Yeah, and it's not that they defend at all costs and they attack at all costs.
The thing is, you shouldn't have to go through all that. I don't care how you try to damage control it. At the end of the day, it shouldn't take all that just to get to that you change that over like that. If one company is doing it, the other company should be doing it too.
Hey,
it should be standard.
The first part of the year, everybody had to pull a crap gamer if you wanted to use YouTube footage. You had to steal that shit because you had no way to get it. You weren't allowed to use it. They had that was an update. You know
they were stealing somebody, boy, because there ain't that many dang people with Elgatos and all that trash, man. Stop that.
Well, what you can do is you can always you can request what's called B-roll footage from the company, and they'll send you just random footage. So
yeah.
Well, it's like
when you're doing reviews and stuff. So.
Well, I never knew that.
You know, like with the DirectX 12, I don't know if you guys, I'm sure you know that the Frostbite dev, Johanna Anderson, I think his name is.
Oh, yeah, we talked about that last week. Yep.
Right, that's big news, okay? And then you have these Sony fans coming out and they don't want it, and they don't. That's good for gaming, you know, because if PS4 has to port, if it goes to DirectX 12 game, and it looks like it might be the industry standard. PS4, they always like to say how powerful it is. Well, it's powerful enough to port the game. And the bottom line is that people who say DirectX 12 doesn't do anything, if it becomes the lead platform for Xbox One for pretty much every multi, that is a fucking huge deal.
That's right. That's
exactly. It is.
So people who are calling us ignorant, saying that we're trying to do this about DirectX 12, use your head. If all these devs are going to start developing because basically you develop an Xbox One and a PC game, and it's one thing that you're developing.
And it was funny, Tim, because to add to that, what you were saying was, now another key thing is Brad Wardell came out a few weeks ago and said that he reached out to Sony about Vulkan, which is supposed to be the counterpart to DX12 for their system, and they said Sony has no plan on utilizing that at this current time. Now, that's not to say they won't use it through the lifespan of the PS4, but that's just another step. Now that you have developers coming out of Frostbite, you know, we already know Unreal Engine 4, Unity, you know we have them in lockdown.
Deus Ex.
That's right. you know that these games are going to be coming out and immediately going from PC port. The first port will be to Xbox because they can do it immediately through DX12. It's going to take anywhere from 48 hours to maybe 20 days maximum. That is a short turnover, and PS4 takes longer. So again, just like the 360 era, we should hypothetically be walking in the same situation where we are the primary port, and then PS4 is the secondary. And that's going to change from what we've seen the first 18 months.
Exactly.
It's massive.
Yeah, that's a big deal. And anybody who said all these people like with that asshole Review Tech, I saw one of his videos about he's talking.
Yeah, I stopped watching that dude.
Yeah, well, I don't watch him. I saw one thing he was sucking on a cucumber. I'm like, what the fuck's up with this guy? But and that's true. He was saying he's like Xbox fanboys. It has no bearing. It's not going to make a difference. Well, asshole, looks like it's making a difference right now.
What's wrong with you?
Yeah. What's that?
Mute your mic, next gen.
Oh,
okay, yeah, next gen.
Well,
go ahead, Tim Dog. Go ahead, Tim Dog.
Just wait back 1 second. I just text you. I can't talk. I just text you, all right? Can you guys hear me?
We're the utmost
we can still hear
professional
you.
podcast. Yes.
Yeah, next gen. Thanks, next gen. But go ahead, Tim Dog.
No, it's just it's I mean, it's a big deal. It's a big deal, and we're going to learn a lot more at E3. I hope Rise of the Tomb Raider is DirectX 12 because that's another studio, Crystal Dynamics, that's going to be familiar with it. And you start to see all these developers. That tweet, I direct messaged Phil, and he saw it and he retweeted it right away. And he was like, "Wow, that's really good news." He messaged me. But that's basically
I think
adoption.
That's the type of news that people need to see because you see Unreal Engine 4 is DirectX 12,
right.
Unity Engine DirectX 12. You know what I mean? It's like Snowdrop Engine DirectX 12. So you're starting to see that this is starting to happen, and that's the PlayStation fanboys' worst nightmare because Sony doesn't really have an answer for this. I had somebody message me on Xbox. Well, DirectX 12 can go to PlayStation 4, right? It's like these people don't understand how these things work.
No.
You know what I mean? It's like, look at where the PS4 is now. Look at where it was when it launched. Look at the Xbox One when it launched, and look at it now. There's a difference between the night and day, and it's not because both of them didn't have room for improvement. They both did. It's just the Xbox actually has improved, and the PlayStation 4 hasn't.
Yeah,
they're still relying on. We got 1080p.
When it came out.
1080p. We got the media. We got 1080p. We got this. You know what I'm saying? They still don't have a 1080p 60 frame per second exclusive. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, I get the clapping and everything.
Well, I think that Forza. I'm really excited about Forza because I heard that
those guys want to redeem themselves.
Yeah, they're gonna come out big.
Forza 5. Yeah, Forza 5 was great. Well, damn it, I keep cutting you. I'm short spacing you big time, Tim. My bad.
No, it's all right.
Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying. I'm totally with you. You could go with that, but that's exactly. It was a launch game, but it's a good game. But you're right. They're gonna come out, and I think they're gonna really. We're gonna get the Forzas that we're used to. High Metacritic and like really good games.
So let me ask you, I'm not a big Forza motorsport. I don't like simulation driving. I like Horizon. I don't really, I don't like to do 100 miles around a corner. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
But you're on the last Forza, wasn't that great?
Listen. I thought it was basically a game that they had a deadline that they had to reach. Turn 10 was definitely pushing microtransactions maybe a little bit too much. And it was an okay. It was a good Forza. I played the game 6 months after. It's a completely different game because they really updated the shit out of it.
Yeah. You know why? Just real quick, I want to just butt in real quick. All right. What happened was, unlike Polyphony Digital, who does Gran Turismo games, Turn 10 didn't want to import last-gen cars and tracks. They wanted to do all new stuff. So that's why it seemed like it didn't have as much content because they rescanned all the cars. Everything had a premium car. All the tracks were up to date. And that's why it launched with kind of lackluster amount of tracks and things like that. But I would assume that they're going to make up for that with this new one. And hopefully, what do you think? Like rain? rain and night driving. That's a big thing.
I really do think. I think you're going to see a lot of muscles flexed here. This is going to be this holiday going forward. You're going to see all the complaints that Microsoft's heard over the years of, like, this thing with Drive Club. Drive Club was a very pathetic game that came out. Okay, they added rain, and of course the media just came out and best driving game of all time, right?
Did they get their free copy yet?
No.
No, the
free
E3,
copy ain't come?
the E3 that Jack Trenton said was coming day one. Oh no.
Day one.
Well, let's not talk about that though. Let's.
Hey,
talk
we
about
heard that in February too. Hey, they like talking about 2013 a lot, right? Let's talk about it.
Talk about the rain. Let's talk about the rain in Drive Club. So, like, what's going to happen is you're going to see. I think Tim Dog nailed it. I think Crap nailed it. You're going to have Forza 6. Now, honestly, I'm kind of with Zaire on this. Forza Horizon 2 kind of grabbed me and really motivated me to get into the series. Forza going around the track thing, it's not. I'm not a car dude, so I'm not really big into that. But once you open it up, you got my attention. But now with this new tech that they have gone and patented, it's got something going on. You know they're going to have the weather effects that are absolutely sick. They're going to be amazing. So with that combined, I mean, and plus, of course, you want to support the brand. But I'm saying if they put out the quality product, I think, and you actually give Turn 10 that kind of opportunity, this Forza is going to be on the map. And 5, Tim was doing a job of defending it, but let's remember, guys, for a launch game, that was a launch game, and I still think it goes head-to-head, minus the rain, beats Drive Club a year and change later.
60 frames per second. That's not
and it doesn't even drop frames. I mean, you could argue about the cardboard cutout people, but again, launch title,
So Drive Club
or the
had
same
that
thing with
too.
Rise, right?
Drive Club
Exactly,
had that
and
too.
Rise, right? And Rise was a launch game and scored bad, but then you had the Order, which came
gonna
out
tell you
a
like
year
this.
plus later,
Drive
and
Club had the
most issues.
Drive Club had the most impressive trees I have ever seen in my life, man. Them trees is white.
Hey, is
There
that
was so many of them, man. There was so many of these trees.
That's like the new Grand Theft Auto Grass situation.
You know, turn 10 is the biggest. From what I've heard, and you know, things that I've heard, turn 10's like they're the musicians, like they're the best with the code. You know, you looked at Forza 5, the launch game, 60 frames per second didn't drop.
People stop doing that.
Yeah. Now you have Forza 6 with Forza Tech. It's gonna be good. I'm really looking forward to that. And you know, like you guys said, if you look in quarter 3, you know, a lot of people talk about quarter 1 and quarter 2. You look at quarter 3, quarter 4, quarter 1, quarter 2 of next year. You have 5 huge Xbox games versus 1 PlayStation 4 game, which is going to be in probably May of 2006. You have Tomb Raider, Forza, Halo 5, Scalebound, and Quantum Break. So
That we know of.
And we didn't have E3. You look like Gears 3 remastered. Something's coming.
You know something from Gears has to be coming, and it's got to be fucking stellar. It's got to be stellar.
Yeah. And then you got Gears 4 next year in 2016, which is...
Okay, well, check this out. Okay, like 2016 to me looks like this, and we don't know what's rest. I'm thinking we're still going to get like a Banjo and a Battletoads this year, and probably some stuff that we don't know about. I think 2016 is going to be Crackdown, Scalebound, Gears 4, Forza Horizon 3,
Quantum Break.
Quantum Break,
Phantom Dust.
Yep.
Yeah, so I think next year is going to look even better.
But listen. Oh, wait. You know what? We can ask Tim what we got in here. You know this rumor that Microsoft is supposed to have another big third-party exclusive or something? You know, multi-platform.
I'm still leaning towards Mass Effect 4, Z.
Could be Mass Effect 4.
I don't know about that, but Tim, what do you think it is, Tim?
I would think that it would be a smart idea for Microsoft to do that. What it would be?
That's expensive though. Jesus, Mass Effect, that's huge.
Yeah, it could be. It's you know, if it's Fallout 4 and it's those would just knock people over.
The only reason I is Fallout 4. You know, Bethesda's been standing on their own for a very long time. EA has this relationship, and you know, Peter Moore being with Microsoft back in the day, it's just a huge link. Plus the EA Access thing. EA can be, you know, they're a big company, so they're going to come out and be very politically correct when it comes to Sony. But Sony, what they did, that's a white glove slap right to the face.
No, hey Moose, not white glove, that brown leather glove your she was rocking.
Hey guys, let's not forget.
Yeah, that JC Penney special.
That JC Penney with the brick smacked up inside it.
Hey, this year could still see like the big Montana game too.
Yeah, if that'll blow my mind.
If it's the NFL licensed exclusive Xbox One Windows 10 cross thing,
forget it.
And that's
NFL license.
Huge. Yeah.
If they didn't get the license, because I think that would be a scenario, and they were working towards the next one, I deal with it. But yeah, if they got the NFL license,
the screenshot that I saw was the Texan Stadium, and I saw the NFL logo though. So
if they get that, that's huge. I mean, for me, that's over
the top,
especially for North America, because this is football country here. Yeah. So I mean, you can look at and people are like, well, they don't have anything for months and months. What if this is a game that's coming out because football season? You know, football games usually come out in August. So you're looking at possibly a Fable Legends and Montana Football back-to-back July-August release, and then you have September, October, and November, and December probably.
So
hey, you know what? The funny thing is, Fable is free, right? It's a free-to-play.
That's right.
Yeah.
You ain't even got to buy that game. It's just it's given to you.
Characters you can buy. Like
I mean, you buy the characters, that's fine, but you know how many characters? I mean, people ain't gonna. They probably go with the one character and go through the whole game.
Yeah, you can. But as long as it doesn't cost more than $60, like I'm gonna day one is $60. Like I said, I'll play the beta. Was in the beta, and I told you guys before I know anything about DirectX anything. I told you guys then that this is the prettiest game that I've ever seen this generation. It's just that fucking pretty. I say, God damn.
The lighting in particular.
Yes, the light, the ice, the fucking water. I'm like, Jesus, like this is beautiful. Like, you know, like I told you, I know, you know, the how you say PC elitists give Microsoft and give Sony shit about their next generation consoles, and like I told you guys before, a lot of you guys may not know, but this is the only generation that the consoles have come out that they were weaker than PCs. Usually when these consoles come out, they have the top of the line GPU and then PC catches up. That's how it goes. But you know, Sony and Microsoft, like there's never been a generation that lasted damn near 10 years. You know what I mean? So consoles will probably never catch PC again. Like, you know, but you take a card like a 980 to the public, it's like $500. But Microsoft and Sony, they're not paying that. They get interest in both. Like prime example, the GPU that was in the PS3, I think it may have cost about $600 at that time. Sony got it for like $60 some odd, $70 some odd. And you understand what I'm saying? And that's per unit, and they buy this shit by the tens of millions. You know what I mean? And the same thing with Microsoft GPU, because theirs is custom. You know what I mean? But like we haven't seen like I said, really what these consoles can do. Trust me, when they stop that cross generation shit, you know what I mean? You know, and I heard this straight from the developer. I've been saying this forever, but you just think about like this again. No, I hate to be like keep beating the dead dog. Even if you have two separate teams working on Tomb Raider, right? This is what, you know, I got this from a developer. Doesn't make a difference because that game still has to fit the parameter of DX9. You understand what I'm saying? Both the Xbox, PS4, or in PC are DirectX equivalent and higher. You know what I mean? If they didn't have to, like I said, you know, still like Showstopper said, prime example. Think about, you know, next generation games, be able to walk in every building and have a conversation with whoever's behind the counter. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Things like that. And like I said, you know, last generation consoles are really holding back the PS4 and the Xbox. Not saying there's some world beaters, but, you know what I mean, hopefully 2016, I know we said the same thing about 2015, but goddamn, last generation just won't fucking die. What's the Ubisoft made a statement last year and said, you know,
they just released support for the 360 version for external hard drive.
Yeah.
Like, God, man.
No, what did Ubisoft say like that was going to be it in 2014, 2015? They will start supporting. It really boils down to EA and Activision. You know what I mean? They need to pull, you know what I mean? Pull the plug. Now,
they're not going to. Activision won't for sure.
You know what, Brad?
Call of Duty on Activision. Forget it.
Here's the thing, I get that. I understand between the two. Yeah, listen, I understand it is a business at the end of the day. But us as gamers, I tell you guys all the time, I know these companies are greedy, but we have to support our hobby. Never in the history of gaming have you had what's it, the seventh generation been that successful. There were really no losers. You know what I mean? The PS3, 80 some odd billion. The Xbox 360 getting 90 million. The Wii, they need 100 million. You understand what I'm saying? So between the PS3 and the 360, that's nearly 170 million goddamn consoles. I get it, but if you want to make them their own Call of Duty, fine. Just give us our next generation one. I can respect that. You understand? And it's not so much about the remakes and the rehash, fine. But if you can just give me my own, and guess what? The Call of Duty heads, they'll probably still buy a version for the 360 and the PS3, and buy the new one for the next generation.
Well, I haven't played like Advanced Warfare on 360, but I did play both versions of Forza Horizon 2, and they're totally different games, man. Like completely different. Like you can't even stress how different they are. They don't even have the same races. You know what I mean? It's like it's crazy how different they are. So I'm not sure if that's how it was with Call of Duty. But if you look at Assassin's Creed, Unity, you know, that isn't helping the new generation either. Is the games that have come out for this generation only haven't been that great. There's been all kinds of technical issues. Like Unity was really bad at launch.
Yeah, it was
some of these other games have been pretty bad at launch. And you know, whereas I think like Assassin's Creed Rogue, which came out on 360 when Unity came out on next gen, was actually probably the better game, the more complete game, because it worked. You know, now you can go back and enjoy Unity. I think it's really good, but they dropped the ball. The developers obviously kind of dropped the ball a bit. Now I'm hoping that The Witcher 3 and like this new Batman game and some of these games that are starting to come out now really kind of show that off and get people to look over. Because if you look at, I'm on my 360 a lot. You know, I'm actually happy they increased the. By the way, they're getting 2 terabyte. They're getting 2 terabyte support before the PS4. So
it's crazy.
You know,
crazy.
it is. It's crazy. So yeah, like I'll be able to. It's because everybody's getting all these digital games. Even me, I downloaded Gears Judgment just to have it digital, so if I wanted to play it, I don't have to go pop the disc. Yeah. I mean, I have the disc too, but hell, I could, you know, if I could just, hey, let me go hop on. I was hopping on there this morning playing the online a bit, but yeah. So if you look at the games, it's like what's coming. There's only 3 games under 360 that's coming, but then it says they're advertising Xbox One a lot more on there. So, like, I wouldn't mind. Most of the support's already cut out for that. I just hope they keep the servers. I think they'll keep everything up and running on there for years to come because they have to. You know, there's a good source of income coming from there. And what I worry about is, because I still got games I want to go through, is I don't want them to cut that shit out because I want to get the achievements and have that account. You know what I'm saying? Account. If you can't go online with it, then you can't do that. You see what I'm saying? So I think a lot of people are in that situation where, you know, it's winding down, obviously. But if you go on Call of Duty, that still has like hundreds of thousands of players on 360. You know, that's the best seller. Advanced Warfare sold the most on 360, and so did Madden. You know, so that
install base though, crap, Jesus.
Oh, I know, dude. But I'm just saying, like, you know, I don't think that those companies are going to be as quick to give that up when you can get all 4.
God damn! Like, where's the RT stamp? Well, listen, like you said, everything that you're saying. Oh, come on, it would still make money for them, I guess, if they just give them their own. What do you have? 2 teams. You had Tyrock. What's the other one? Tyrock, or what's the other one that makes the Call of Duties? You got 2 or 3 teams. Yeah, you got 3 teams there. Let one do a last generation one. I'm not talking about the same game. I'm talking about 2 different games. Like, come on, that's like Call of Duty is just that popular that people will buy both versions. You understand what I'm saying? They will buy both fucking versions just to play with their clan on the 360 and play that, and then play the next generation one, man. Like, that's all that I'm saying. Give me my listen. I bought a next generation game, to be honest with you, console. I'm sorry, to, you know, play games that I can't get on my 360 and the PS3. I went out day one and spent $2,000 between both of those consoles and games and gadgets and controllers. Bought my son one. I spent a lot of fucking money. You know, I was excited. You know, and I wanted, like, hey, you know, not to say I need something to validate my purchase, but as all of us, the reason we went out and bought these consoles was to get something that we couldn't get on previous gen consoles.
Let me add something to Z. Let me add something to what Z's saying. Like, we're looking at this, we're attacking this from the wrong way marketing, okay? Now, crap, you make a very good point. There's 90 million consoles out there. We have to cater to them. Even if they make half of that, it's 45 million people they're reaching. I get all that. But let's just, I hate to use the same example, but I have to. The cell phone industry is what's starting to dictate the way things are going. Every year, every 2 years, okay, the iPhone comes out, and it's not that the iPhone sells 1.5 million more. They get all the people who had the 5 to move to the 6, and then they scoop some more. You have to listen. When you move everybody from 360, when you shut it down, and you move everyone to the 1, you'll get that money and then some. You have to move forward. So this keep on feeding them, and here's some free games, guys. Here's a port of something we're kind of making. I have so many friends that will not make the jump to the 1. They're like, tell me why. When I want to play GTA 5, I have it. When I play Call of Duty, I have it. When I want to play Halo 4, I have it. What is it you have I don't have?
Wait. The way to make them jump would be to say, hey, fuck you. You bought this on 360 a year ago, but we're going to cut down everything and not let you play it?
But no. I don't think he's saying that, but this is what you do, though. Honestly, like, this, come on, guys, I'm fucking grandpa Xbox here. There's no way in hell that Tomb Raider should be on a fucking 360. Okay?
That's true. That's a fact.
There's no way in hell that Forza Horizon 2 should have been on a 360.
That's a fact.
Titanfall should not have been on a 360. You understand what I'm saying?
You're trying to push a console.
If you want your Microsoft, Phil, listen. I understand it is a business, and I don't buy this shit that it was so many 360s that owners that went from the 360 to the PS4. No, if that was the case, the PlayStation Plus subscribership number would be a lot higher than 11 million, and that's between 3 fucking consoles. You understand what I'm saying? Because trust me, Xbox gamers are used to paying for online. It's not a problem for them. So trust me, it was so. I'm not saying that some people owned a 360 didn't buy a PS4, but when it was saying, "Oh, Sony lied so fucking much," it was more new owners than anything. No, what happened was because the PS3 was so shitty in comparison to what the 360 could do as far as the features and all that, that a lot of those guys upgraded before 360 owners. You know what I mean? You got people that are still playing Gears. They have a real big active Gears community. Trust me, when Gears of War 4 comes out, you're gonna have
the remake. You know what I'm saying? The little collection.
When Halo 5 comes out, I understand we got the Master Chief collection, but hey, you got some people. I got Master Chief 1, 2, 3, 4. I got an election on my 360. Those games are still fucking being played to this day. You understand? When Halo 5 come out, you're gonna have a nice little chunk make that move. But Microsoft, you're gonna have to stop with that shit. You know what I mean? You gotta cut to like. There's no way in hell. Like, come on. Like, if you come on, you paid all this money for this exclusive. I understand it is a business, and I'm not cutting anyone's pocket, but I know you're gonna make some money because you're gonna put it over 360. But come on, man, you're really the 360 came out, guys, in 2005. I was there day one. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But if you want your to come over, you gotta stop making games. When you think about a next generation game, if there's no way in hell that should be able to be on the fucking 360. Listen, when we bought out 360, that's the way it is. Listen, when we bought out this is the big thing, and this is what's fucking the game up right now. When I went out and I bought my motherfucking 360, I understand those games were shitty. They were port titles. They were ported over. But guess what? When I looked in, and they were running on single core, and I knew that I was playing a next generation console, and I knew that couldn't be done on the 360. Quake, Perfect Dark, Cameo, Call of Duty 2. I knew that couldn't be done on the original Xbox and the PS2. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. We have been, like I sad to say, and I love my 360. The Xbox One. The best thing thus far about this generation is the features. Yeah. That's it. Game-wise,
I agree with you.
Game-wise, listen, these consoles came out in 2013. I'm being honest here. We do not have really one must-have next-generation title. Not one.
The scary thing too, if you think about it, the 360 hasn't even reached to the $99 price point.
And
at that price point, it's
the console is never going to die. It might be the greatest console of all time.
I've been saying that it's the greatest console of all time.
It's Nintendo, and I get all that. You understand what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. If developers still want to make games for the fucking 360 or the PS3, cool, fine. But give us our next generation shit. That's why I take my hat off to CD Red Project. You know what I mean? coming out with games like The Witcher 3. I want to take my hat off to Rocksteady. You know, that's when you guys talk about, oh, they just hate their bias against Nintendo. No, if they could put that goddamn game with a 360 and a PS3, how the fuck they gonna put it on the Wii U?
Although I will say this though, like I'm kind of surprised that the new Batman is only using Unreal 3. You would have thought.
But I'm not surprised. You know why, crap? Let me tell you something. Last generation consoles were only able to use a small percentage of the Unreal Engine 3 engine. It's powerful. We never saw a maxed out Unreal Engine 3 on last generation console. It used a fraction of what those engines can do. A fraction.
Yeah, well, then the Unreal 4 stuff looks fantastic. Then, like,
you know, it does. You know what I mean? It does. But you know, but even with the implication of, like I said, what people don't get, and we can maybe swing into this segue here, where right now I'm not saying, but this year and especially next year.
Hey, shout out to like the 130 people watching us right now.
I got 154 on my side.
That's what's up, man. Shout out to y'all, man. Good night.
Yeah, but you know what I mean? And like I said, this one, again, it's not me being a fanboy. I told you guys, I am a gamer first. I just prefer the Xbox. Right now, we're going to see the Xbox One start to pull ahead. You know what I mean? What Albert Pinello said, he said we got some of the smartest people working for us. You know, we are the inventors of DirectX. You know what I mean? Tim, you may remember or not. I don't know if I just met you then. I got called everything about a child of God when I said DirectX 12 was coming to the Xbox One. Everybody, their mama was talking about me. I had websites talking about me.
We all got called. You ain't the only one.
No, I'm just saying, though, for real, though. You know, I mean, this before, you know, Showstop, before you were, you know, people really knew you were. I just bet you Crap was doing his little bullshit reviews. I got fucking slammed. You know what I mean? I got called everything but a child of God. It's not saying I'm some industry insider. To me, it's just common fucking sense.
Yeah.
And we're talking about Microsoft's hardware. This is theirs. I've always said since day one that even you take with the founder of them, to me, like, motherfuckers just don't use their mind. I forgot the dude, the Atari's grandfather, him. He said one of the best things Microsoft has are the development kits and tools. I gave it, even when Mark Cerny said the way the PS4 was constructed, it was made to come out and give you all the performance yields up front. You know what I mean? Where the Xbox One is going to continue to get better. And even the developer from April Odyssey, he said just because you have console A, he didn't say any names, console A may be more powerful than console B up front, but in the long term, console B may turn out to be more powerful. You know what I'm saying? You have what you call specs on paper and real world performance. You understand?
And you also have a dev. Well, not all devs are created equal, because there's some devs like Turn 10. Forget about it. They can do anything.
And also too, if you just think like, and I said, to me, it just didn't make any sense. Here's Microsoft rolling out this brand new API, and what, you know what I mean? And they had a console come out a few months prior. Like, it doesn't make any sense. And people were saying, well, you can't go on and change the GPU. Microsoft, I said, first of all, Microsoft never came out and said what GPU was in the goddamn console. Never. That was the media going around speculating, it has this, it has that. First of all, the Xbox One GPU was custom. You know what I mean? And you're right, you know, and to this day, the Xbox One was the only console still that had non-disclosure agreements on it. They couldn't say what's actually in the console. Because listen, check it out. You can have the fastest goddamn car in the world, but if you don't have the keys to start the car, what are you gonna do? Like they could say these sites are horrible. IGN, GameSpot, Microsoft gimped down on the eSRAM because they included.
Hey, there were some people that said the Xbox One would never do.
It's been a crazy couple of years, man.
Listen, brothers, I'm my right-handed God. Listen, brothers, my right-handed God. You seen big? That's what I'm talking about. That's why I tell you all these sites is a bunch of dog shit. You have big, quote-unquote, credible sites saying this, and come to always got a mystery inside developer, right? All these anonymous developers, right? Come to find out from that leaked dev kit that came out in December, Microsoft never gave them the tool to access the eSRAM the way that they wanted to. You understand what I'm saying? You know, like God damn, like it's crazy as hell.
Hey, how many people said that the Xbox One would never do 1080p?
Yeah, 720p box, I remember.
They said the highest it would get was 900p. Now, I'm
Hey, next gen. The reason why your name is next gen 720.
They was gonna name They said I chose the name next gen 720. Next gen 720 because we thought the Xbox. Everybody used to call it the Xbox 720. No, 720 is.
That was a crazy couple of years, man. Wow.
Still crazy.
I just couldn't have the name next gen. Someone already took it. That's why. I mean, I did thought it was kind of cool if they would have called it the Xbox 720, but that's when it was his birthday. You know what I mean? And they did. What's that guy? What's that raggedy mop head motherfucker? What's up for gamer? Yeah, the reason why they called it the X720p. It's Xbox 720 because it couldn't do higher than 720p resolution. Like that's, you know what? Again, I will say this again. Microsoft got caught with their pants down when they didn't think.
So did. They wasn't expecting the resolution thing to blow up the way it did.
There's a TikTok quote going around about 1080p. What the fuck or something like that. I see that passing around still.
Hey, you know what?
Oh, it's Aaron.
I hate to seem like I'm long in the tooth here or even long-winded. You had Sony saying 1080p, 120 frames a second. They promised that last generation. I posted you
dual HDMI.
Dual HDMI. You know, even Sony said that their console was so powerful that the TVs that weren't out yet, you're gonna have to wait another 2 to 3 years for the new TVs to enter the market. They truly to really you can see what the PlayStation is. It's like I said, Sony. These are things that they're saying. That the PS3 will be 1080p native, 120 frames per second. I bullshit you not.
120 frames.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And
I'm gonna tell you this. It'd have been 120 frames of chaos because that frame rate would be all over the place.
To this day, Sony does not have one AAA exclusive that's 1080p. 160 frames a second lock.
That's right.
And
60 frames a second lock, yeah.
80p lock 60 frames a second. You see Call of Duty, but there's
it's always unlocked. They always unlock it where it's scaling up and down.
I'll tell you something, everywhere. Man, I'm playing through Infamous Second Son on PS4, and I had to set the frame rate to locked at 30 because that thing was all over the goddamn place, dude. Like you couldn't play it. I'm like, why has nobody mentioned this before?
People got to do the same thing with the Last of Us remaster too, because if you lay it on 60, that's a lot of screen tearing. They have to lock it to 60. That's why they put the lock to 30 option on there.
It all started with the Tomb Raider, man, remastered, man.
Yeah,
that's going around bragging. They were sitting around here like, this is the definitive version!
even though
they was all in there, man. And that stuff was all over the place, boy. I was like, God, I can't play that, man. No way I can play that game. But yeah, man. I mean, Sony does that.
PS4 though, it was never 60.
It was 40 solid.
It was 48.
46, yeah. The Xbox One version was like 30. I think it was pretty close to locked at 30, right?
It was locked at 30.
It was locked at 30.
It was locked at 30.
Yeah, I never had any problems on that. I have it on PS4 as well because that was the first game I bought.
It's buttery smooth.
It was
I haven't really played it on there yet.
Bullshit. You know.
Yeah, I mean that's part of the this whole campaign or whatever. Hey guys, I have a question. Like maybe you guys will answer this. Maybe Tim, you'll know. But the PS4 actually did in fact launch in China, and we have heard nothing about it.
Nothing.
There's nothing. I mean, when Microsoft launched in China, we had pictures of the lines. Yep. We had people asking about how many it sold.
They sold 100.
I told you, man, they good at sweeping stuff under the rug.
But where's the picture? Where's the picture of the lines, or the empty lines? Where's the sales data? Where's anything on this PS4 being on sale? Is it rumor? Because I think I read something that it launched like secretly. Like what kind of media allows this? This is a big launch for the first PlayStation to launch in China in 14 years.
They hate
and there's no coverage. No coverage. And what did we say all along? This thing would sell shit in China, right? All along, and there's no coverage of that because it would make Sony look like the idiots they are.
Right.
Where's the coverage? Where is it?
There isn't any because there's no sales.
Exactly, because so many ignorant people think Japanese and Chinese is the same goddamn thing. You know what I mean? They do. They think that they go, well, they're Asian and Asian. Oh, it'll sell great.
No, it's not.
You know what I mean? It does.
They can't stand each other.
Exactly. But I can't say that because then I'm a racist. You know, so I think that that's an interesting thing. But there's the people that think that the whole, you know, bias thing is just us making it up or being salty or crying about it. It's true though. Like the whole situation, because look at this, and go back and find me this. Anybody that's listening, find articles from last generation where people are holding up games on an Xbox One version or 360 on one hand and a PS3 on the other, and the 360 games held higher that says, you know, 720p versus 540p. For you know, show me all the articles that were like that, or all the articles, you know, about anything bad about PS3, or you know what I'm saying, anything that goes on now that goes on last gen. Nothing like that happened. In fact, Digital Foundry, if you look back, was given the edge to PS3 versions of games, even when it had lesser resolution. If you can believe that. I mean, that's weird. That's weird to me. How can, you know, like now it's like, oh, okay, well, we're going to give this version a win to the PS4 because it has motion blur. You know, and then you look at the pictures of the soccer game, and you're like, well, the blurriness looks terrible. The Xbox One looks clear. You know what I mean? It's like motion blur. Or you say, oh, well, this one has more grass, so we're going to give the win to the PS4. I mean, do you guys – I thought that was a joke when they originally said that. I says maybe it's Digital Foundry trolling people to see the lengths that they'll go to defend their console, and it turns out it wasn't a joke.
No, it seems to me nobody's ever come out and pinpointed it one way or the other. But Digital Foundries to me is a NeoGaf in the waiting. Like they're basically the same thing, because even when they write their report, and they have with Assassin's Creed Unity and a few others that came out, where they actually came out and wrote a good healthy paragraph and a half saying that the Xbox One has a better frame rate, it's a better well over gameplay. They still finished their paragraph with the verdict with PlayStation 4 still having the graphical superiority, blah, 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 blah. And so it's like, no matter what, even when though they're trying to show good face, they still have to go back on their laurels and still look like, you know what I mean? So I for some reason, Digital Foundries to me is still extremely biased in Sony's direction.
Well, check this out. They stopped doing review scores just before the order came out. Like, literally. They were like, hey, man, we can't do this. And then what was funny was, I think Mike the creator of iDarb, was like, man, I wish they would have stopped that right before iDarb came out. We would have had a little bit higher meta score. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's really funny to me that the situation, and people that still don't believe it. Look at this. IGN the other day, they go, if you bought Dark Souls 2 on PS4, here's some tips and tricks. And then I see people tweeting them. They're like, you realize that Dark Souls 2 came out on Xbox One, it's on 360, it's on PS3. You know what I mean? It's out on more than just one console.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's
Where's
so
next gen? Next gen's still here?
I'm right here, bro.
Oh, okay. I thought you like disappeared on us. Or something.
No, I had
maybe a cop shot you or something, bro.
No. I had the mic, and I didn't realize that my wife had called. I'm sorry. Yeah, but you're absolutely right. The crap gamer. You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I was like running stuff. I'm like, I'm talking, and I'm like, damn, people are gonna say, "Crap Gamer's stealing the podcast, man."
I'm here, man. I'm here, but now, like I said, man. You know what? Hey, Tim, you did, Tim?
Yeah, I'm here.
I'm surprised you came on, man. I'm gonna be honest, a lot of people don't be scared to come. You're hanging out with us. You're doing a good job. A lot of people be a little scared to come on the show with us for whatever reason. But I've been trying to get your white ass on this show forever, man. Tim, my motherfucking brother, though. I'm glad.
I never had a microphone. I actually, I do.
A microphone, man. You can use your cell phone. Shit, the Google Hangout app, man.
I don't know. I just, but thank you guys for having me on.
I
blew up some steam on NeoGaf because I really.
But now, like I said before, and and like I said, we all. Let me say this. I want to be clear. This, and not saying I'm not putting myself or us on any pedestal. What we do is for entertainment. Don't get me wrong. I'm not just saying shit that I don't mean. The Xbox is the best box, the better console to me, hands down. That's the way that I feel. I don't care for a lot of Sony games. I don't. And what people don't understand, or maybe they're too young, what made the PlayStation 2 so great was all these third-party multiplayer games that you see now were exclusive to the PS2 back then. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. They were, like, the Metal Gears, the Grand Theft Autos. If it did come to the original Xbox, it was a year later, and, by the time they got, what's that Grand Theft Auto Vice, the Miami one?
Vice City.
It was damn near getting San Andreas, you know what I mean? So, I would give Microsoft a lot of credit, because when the 360 came out, they really beat the doors down. It was like, hey, you know, we have this console, it's easy to develop for, and I take my hat. They really, really fought and clawed their way into this industry. You know what I mean? It's being real, and not the only one of the big three that doesn't even have a handheld. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, they get a lot of hate. That's the bottom line.
They do, but just imagine, like I said, and just to touch on this again, just look at all the great things that we just take for granted now that Microsoft brought to the gaming industry. You know what I mean? The fact, I understand you had online,
and that doesn't end here. I mean, there's going to be stuff that Xbox is coming.
Oh, exactly. But you know, even I understand it's Dreamcast and maybe another Nintendo something you can play online, to your telephone. That's bullshit. I'm talking about broadband. I was a PlayStation dude, like I said, man. White boy came through with a bunch of Xboxes. Like, what the fuck is this big ass? What the fuck is an Xbox? I didn't know what the fuck an Xbox was. But when I realized I could put my music CDs in that motherfucker and had that rip while I was playing, what was the Xbox original exclusive? I think Reckless or some shit like that. Playing a card game, hauling ass through the city. I was like, oh shit! And then the following
Midnight Madness. Midtown Madness.
They had another one called Reckless. I think Activision made it too. But then the following year, Xbox Live came out, and I was a beta tester. When I said I was the only black motherfucker, like, bro, listen, listen. That's the first time I ever experienced racism. I bullshit. Let me tell you something, man. Listen, I bullshit you not. And to this day, that's why I met White Boy Thor. So shout out to White Boy Thor. I'm not even gonna say this other guy's name, but anyway, and I'm still friends with him to this day. He's kind of shy though, but he's from a place in America that he'd never seen a white person before. I'm sorry, a black person before, and that shit kind of baffled the fuck out of me. I'm like, what the fuck is this? But anyway, so every day we'd be online playing Soldier of Fortune. That was a big shooter from the Xbox, and you know every day. I'll be going back and forth in the fucking lobby. It's like, you black motherfucker. I said, shut the fuck up, crack up, put some cheese on you. But this is how we got cool. I mean, every day we would go at it. This motherfucker said to me, Zaire, how do you starve a nigga? I said, what, motherfucker? Man, suck my dick, boop, bop, boop, bop. I said, no, how do you starve a nigga? I said, I don't know how. Hide their food stamps under the soap. I said, hide their food stamps under the soap. Yo, I ain't never laughed so fucking hard in my life, yo. But, you know, man, that shit just fucking blew my mind. But I just have so many fucking fond memories of Xbox Live. And when that came out, I was strictly an Xbox dude. Like, I was all about online and people. I mean, you don't even need a fucking computer. Because I didn't even have a computer. I just plugged the fucking cable modem. And back in the fucking Xbox, it came with the internet port. Like I said, the OG Xbox was ahead of its time, man. The bitch had a hard drive. Think about that. That system that came out in 2001 had an 8 gig hard.
Hey, I was so ignorant on that shit when I bought my original Xbox. I still bought a fucking memory card because I didn't realize what the hard drive
was. That's when you take it out somewhere. But then picture this shit. This is what I'm talking about with Nintendo. And here it is. Nintendo puts on a console in 2012 with 8 gigabytes of flash. You understand? With 8 gigs of flash, here you have a console that comes out in 2001. With an 8 gig hard drive. Like I said, Microsoft really, you know what I mean, did a lot of great things for the gaming, you know, the things we just, like I said, we just take for granted, man. You know, the fact that, you know, party chats and, you know, we sit there for hours. Like I said, the store, the Microsoft store. Think about it. When the PS3 came out, they didn't have no PSN store. There was no store. And I will give Sony credit that they have, it's not still as good as Xbox Live, but they at least have tried, you know, to make their service better for whatever, you know what I mean? But you know, as far as Nintendo, I don't know what the fuck they're doing, but people hate on Microsoft, whatever. Like, it's crazy. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, man.
Give them the credit that they deserve. I definitely think that they don't get the credit that they're deserving. I mean, this year they're going to come up with a lot of stuff. You know, PS4 had streaming first, but they had it with the Vita and the Xperia phone. But now, like Xbox, if they do take something from Sony, they take it and they make it better. Like, we're supposed to have streaming, which is going to be 1080p, supposedly, 60 frames per second, and you're going to be able to stream from your Xbox to your Surface, and more devices will be added. But like, just say your Surface or a wired PC, and you're going to be able to watch TV on the same thing. Now, that's something that is pretty cool if you think about it. Because if you have like a nephew over, you can have them go on there on the Surface, shut them up, play the game, and you can watch your TV and do what you want. Those are types of things that like Microsoft brings to the table. They take it a step further if they do take off of Sony, and they both take off of each other. But Xbox, like I said, it just really it's just time to just really just if you just stop the hate. I mean, I don't. You guys are tweeting me every day. You're tweeting Phil Spencer every day. Love your console. Tweet your guy Yoshida and House for your shit. I mean, seriously. I'm on Twitter every day. I'm trying to make Xbox a better place. That's what I try to do. I don't try to go on and say, oh, the PS4, you can't do this. Oh, Yoshida, where the fuck is this? Fuck you, like these guys do. But seriously, it's at the point where Microsoft is good for gaming, and even with the feedback. If Microsoft never started the feedback, Sony wouldn't have the feedback because you know what? It's a good thing. So competition's a good thing. It's just time to really just especially with this whole thing with Larry and Tyler, and the bribery. What's wrong is wrong. You don't always have to go along party lines. Like I said, I've seen Xbox guys go at Phil and they love him, but they say, well, what the hell are you doing here, or how come you don't do this, or why? We complain. I suggest you guys stop complaining about us and complain about your own console.
Yeah, because look, I complained. I was like, hey, my achievements don't always pop. That irks me like no other. You know what I'm saying? It'll say unlocking 100%, and then it'll take like 3 days for it to actually pop. You know what I mean? Like I complained, hey, the install times are bad. You put in a PS4 game, you're literally playing within 5 minutes. You know what I mean? I could wait all day for shit to install on an Xbox One. I have legitimate complaints. I have no problem complaining where they're legitimate. But here's where the difference is. The PS4 owners have they have really high expectations for Xbox One, low expectations for PS4, completely. You know what I mean? But I want to ask you guys to, in the audience, to start asking questions because we've already been at this like over an hour and a half, and I know Mooch and everybody has to get going. So if you guys have questions, ask it in the comment section, and we'll answer, man. Even if you got a question for Tim Dog or whoever, we'll do it. Hey, I see there is one. Omazio says, what are your thoughts on Nintendo not allowing voice chat in Splatoon because the director of the game had a bad experience online?
That's the biggest cracking shit ever, but yeah.
Yeah, that's some bullshit.
Yeah, you know what? Here's the thing, and I say this in all honesty, not even hating. I would rather have it and then not need it than to need it and not have it. Like I said, if Nintendo, and now people look at me as being the biggest Nintendo hater. I'm not. I'm just being honest. Like I'm a consumer first. Nintendo got me in the game. If they don't get with the times, I'm serious. That they will be. Sad to say that. They will be left behind. Even they need new blood. Even Iwata said we don't. We don't do well at competing. Like that's crazy. They got. They really need to get with the time. There's no excuse for that. Like I was just telling you, I was playing. Mario 3 with my daughter. We was playing. We had a bowl. Now, co-op. I mean, we were actually playing the game at the same time. A Mario game. How can you ship a game with with local multiplayer, but no online multiplayer? Like that, I don't understand that.
In today's day and age,
I don't understand. And like I said, I was thinking about buying a Wii U just for here. I didn't want you guys to tease me, but we have.
Oh yeah.
No, but listen, like I'm not a big Mario dude, but I had fun playing with her, with the kids. Like I had fun playing, that game, But it is what it is. I think that they don't get what.
That's what that console is really all about. It's just simple games.
Oh wait! I'm about to get y'all asses. Hey Tim.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. Now Nintendo's new console, man, crap took me up his fizzle. Him and Showstopper deleted it.
We won, bro.
Now Nintendo's next generation console called the NX, right? Now listen, I will say this, okay? And not saying that the PS4 and the Xbox One are world beaters, okay? They're not. But Nintendo's next generation console, I don't see them releasing. And like I said, they have to. I say maybe next year we should see the console early. I say 2016 because they're not making any money as far as the Wii U. That's how they really make their money through software sales. But neither here nor there. Do you think the Wii U, let me say the next Nintendo X, will be more powerful than the PS4 and the Xbox One?
I think it'll be on,
you're talking about something, a console that's coming out in 2016.
I think it'll be on par. Or, you know,
on par?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hey, everybody. I love you. Love you all. We won. We win.
Nintendo, they're on the record as saying Nintendo's going to strike out again. They're going to put out another.
I don't know what Nintendo's. I don't know.
I don't see how that's striking out because they're going to.
I don't even know if they'll even. I mean, they have publicly said it's coming out, right?
Yeah, but no, what you mean striking out? Because here's the thing: once the PS5 or whatever, or the Xbox, whatever it's called, comes out, it's going to be more powerful. And
but they're probably thinking they're good to go for competition for a good 3 or 4 years with whatever they come out with next year. So that's probably their thinking. They're thinking 2020. So that'll give them 3 to 4 years of solid market time with a console probably as powerful. And they're going to be able to get good, easy ports of multi-platform games. And I think that's what they're going. Going more powerful does them no good because developers aren't going to take advantage of that.
Yeah.
You know,
I honestly, I like Nintendo fans. I think that they're a lot nicer.
They're the easiest going fans because I did 10 things I hate about the Wii U, and they were like, yeah, that's fair. You know what I mean?
I really think, from the Nintendo fans that I know some are crazy, but
they dot that I, the crazy ones, man.
They, I think Nintendo's in trouble. I'm going to be honest. I mean, I don't know, what are they going to come out with that's going to compete with what? Listen, Sony and Xbox are pushing each other right now. They are making their systems more versatile. They're making them more. You're going to be able to do a lot more things. Everything, it's monthly updates. Probably Sony will adopt the same thing. What the hell is Nintendo just going to come out and have the same type of console that does not have multiplayer features and all these stuff? I just don't. Honestly, if I was in their board, I honestly would just go third party. And I hate to say that. I just don't see them competing in this space. I don't, unless they really have
too much. It's too much upgrades that they have to do. It's a lot of work.
Behind. They're way behind. You're talking about Splatoon.
Very way behind.
You're having local fucking multiplayer. I mean, come on. That's fucking
and
2005 talk.
Yeah,
that's
no voice chat. No voice chat. No, look, they have to have a built-in hard drive. They have to have an achievement system and a competent online system where you can just add whoever you want by typing in their name.
That's what I'm saying. So
but they never did that though. Like they could do that with the Wii U. I mean,
yeah.
They can't do it with the Wii U. That's what I'm saying.
Why can't they have multiplayer on the Wii U?
Yeah, I'm just saying. But so do you think with all the woes of the Wii U in every way? I mean, Nintendo's been in business for over 100 years. You know what I mean? But it's sad. I mean, if they don't, here's the thing. I'm hoping that they will. And like I said, I just don't know if they're going to put out 3 years in a row an extremely anemic console. You know what I mean?
I don't understand the new console. What is going to be the draw to it?
I don't know. I just hope
that's the problem. I mean, if they're thinking this,
I hope it has a traditional controller. I mean, no gimmick.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: they had 2 gimmicky consoles back to back. Is what I'm saying. And I think maybe you guys may be looking at it as Nintendo's 8th generation offering, but in all honesty, this is going to be the 9th generation console.
But they're not going to. They're not going to start their own generation where they're like.
Why not?
Right?
Because they're not going to. Because then they're still not going to get third-party support. Because developers aren't going. They're not going to go out of their way to port special games.
No, but you do realize there's rumor that it's x86 also.
Yes, so what you do is it's going to make it easier to port the Xbox One and PS4 versions to that.
Oh, okay, but I'm just saying that it's x86. Here's what I'm saying: if it's x86, like PC, it's like I said, I just don't see them putting out another console again, bro.
I don't see it either. I think
but that's on par with a you're talking about something that's coming out in 2016, maybe 2017.
But look at their games, though. What game do you know of?
I don't know.
What game can they make that's going to blow you and say that's next gen?
Metroid.
What game's going to blow you?
Bro, it's 2015 right now, and Nintendo characters still don't talk. Like, I would love to see I'm not saying Zelda has to be as graphic as The Witcher 3, but Zelda should at least be on par with Fable as far as maturity. Because there's no kids, being honest, there's no kids playing Zelda. Ain't no 5 or 6 get beat.
The problem with Wii U, when Wii U came into the market, I was at System Wars and I was still into this like I am now, but I was on GameStop. I used to be on a forum called System Wars, and I said, this fucking Wii U is going to be a complete failure, because I knew what they basically were coming at the end of the generation to become on par with the same things that 360. You know what they have to do is they would have to actually have content and things that would make you think next gen. You don't like. Unfortunately, I don't think Nintendo is next gen. I really do. I do not have a good forecast unless they have something that like, you know, the original Wii had the nunchuck, and that was the sell. Okay, motion.
It was a gimmick. It was a gimmick.
Right. It was the sell. You know. But what are they going to have that's really, is it going to be virtual reality? I don't know. Maybe it's going to be something.
Like I said, I just hope they put in a console.
They can't do the same thing that they did with the Wii U, is my point.
No, they can't. And I just said, you know what I mean? And I will give them, I will hope that they don't, you know, history doesn't repeat itself. That's all.
Maybe it's VR. That's the only thing that I can think of. But again, VR is a space where we don't know if that's going to get.
I don't know. But to be honest with you, Tim, I don't think people want to play with things on their face.
I agree.
Hey, look! I like what Phil Spencer said about it. It's not a right now thing.
I agree.
I think it's cool. You know, I would probably buy it. Like I said,
I'll try it out. But
I don't think the average Joe wants to play around.
Hey, we got a shit ton of questions.
Yeah, let's get to the questions.
Yeah, I was gonna say, man, we can sit there and talk about how next gen things. Xbox is coming out in 2018.
We're gonna have to say that for another one.
Well, here I got HUD. This one here, HUD, XO, X0, whatever. I'm sorry, you know what you're talking about. You just left a comment 29 seconds ago.
Yeah.
Do you think Microsoft has been too quiet lately? Build 2015 and E3 2015 around the corner, and they haven't teased anything yet. It's only 1.5 hour show, and they claim to have a lot to show that they haven't already. Are you worried, or do you think they need to be more aggressive?
I'm not worried. I think they're teasing Gears of War already. They put up a Gears of War 3 trailer on the official Xbox thing for some reason.
My thing is, I'm going to say this. I think they need to be more aggressive about what we already know is coming out.
Yeah.
Say the things that we don't know. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But more aggressive about, you know, the Quantum Break, the Fable Legends.
Backlash. What happens if they were like, yeah, Quantum Break for sure this year, and then...
No, I ain't sitting here saying announce it, but we should be seeing some gameplay. We should be seeing something. A trailer, something. You know, I'm just saying it should be a little bit more aggressive.
What happens if release dates way in advance? I remember hearing about Gears. I know. I'm just saying we used to get those. We got a Gears 3 release date like a year and a half ahead of time, or
No. But that's what I'm saying. The hype around these games need to be started beginning of this year.
And also show.
You know what I'm saying? It should have been a hype for these games all year long, a celebration going up to it, for we can be ready and hyped about it. Hell, right now, it's nothing. It's not even nothing. It's no talking.
I own all three, and I'm not hyped for anything aside from Halo 5. That's the only thing that's really
here's the thing. Here's the thing, and what maybe shows what you're saying also. I'm not asking for release dates, but what I'm saying, maybe what I'm saying is I really don't want to see games that have been at this year's E3 that I know have been coming out for the last 2 or 3 years.
All right, me too.
And if Microsoft,
I don't want to see that trash.
Listen, if Microsoft is depending on showing us, you know, that's the bigger bulk of the show, they're in fucking trouble. I'm an Xbox dude. I don't want to see shit again. Come on, 3 E3.
I'm gonna say this: they need to. If they're gonna show something, keep it to 10 minutes.
But listen, hey,
you know what I'm saying? And then the rest of the show need to be about something else. I don't need to see a whole lot of that.
But not even that.
Wait, what don't you want to see?
3 fucking years.
The old games, the older games that we already knew for the past 2 years, should have been out already.
Wait. Which games are you guys talking about? I'm curious.
Quantum Break. We saw
Quantum Break and
we saw Quantum Break in E3 2013.
We never saw
E3 2014. We're going to see the E3 2015. Like, goddamn already.
Yeah.
Well, I do.
I don't see
No,
that.
like, wouldn't you want to see some of the new? Maybe hear a little bit more about it. Like,
Like what I'm saying, keep it to a minimum though. Don't that shouldn't be the bulk of your show.
I
Is
feel like
basically what I'm saying.
we don't know anything about these games, though. That's the thing. Like, yeah, it's easy to say,
I-
hey.
Damn, Craig.
I've seen a lot about Quantum Break, man, but
Hey,
it's
stop when your boys starting again, but they ain't got a movie.
No, I'm just saying. Look. I would rather
Next
watch.
question.
I would
Next
rather
question.
watch 5 minutes of
I'm
Quantum
winning.
Break at
You
E3.
lose.
I'd rather watch
That's
5
it.
minutes of Quantum Break at E3 from Microsoft than a half hour of Morpheus from Sony. I'm just saying.
no. This is what I'm saying. If they sit here, this is what I'm sitting here. I'm holding Microsoft accountable. They said they have a lot. This is what I'm saying. They said they had a lot to show. So they told us this last E3, and the stuff that they had a lot to show, we all looked at and was like, "This is what you had."
Not for
You know what I'm saying? It was a bunch of multi-threads and some other little stuff. I mean, I wasn't that impressed. I was, impressed.
And then it looked even better when you compared it to Sony's. I mean, it looked like.
I mean, it was better. But what I'm saying, if they had so much to show, it was a letdown because we were so hyped about new stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
That they showed a bunch of old
you
stuff.
don't want to see. You don't want to see. I mean, yeah, Crackdown's announced. You don't want to see that.
I want.
Listen, that's towards the end of the show, though, bro. Listen, what I'm saying. The first 45 minutes of the dang on show was old stuff.
Right. Well, you have to realize too, though, Microsoft's being real quiet. Last year, they had the leak. And that hurt them. That hurt their whole show.
That hurt you. Yeah.
You know, so I mean, we wouldn't have known. You look. Let's just pretend that leak never came out, and they kept to the best. At that E3, you would have had Halo, the Master Chief Collection, which would have fucking blew your mind. You had Forza Horizon 2. They started announcing things beforehand. Because of the leak.
That's a good point.
And that's why the E3 wasn't what we wanted to be. Now this E3, you're right. They have talked a lot, and
I hope
I think that
my expectations is at least 3 to 4 new games that I don't know about.
Good point. Good. I feel you.
You see what I'm saying?
I don't. Think
that's
all three of
basically
those-
my
those-
expectation.
Yeah, but
my expectations. I'm talking about for.
3 or
It's
4
time to
games
re-up.
coming out-
Well,
three or 4 games coming out this year that they're showing.
No, not this year. No. Now it's 3 or 4 games that they are working on that we do not know about to get us excited. We heard these one games to death.
Yeah.
I'm looking at 3 to 4 games that I don't know nothing about.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That will totally just surprise me and get me excited. Like the first time I heard about Quantum Break, like the first time I heard with the Fable Legends and all this other little stuff that they had coming out, we heard that we was excited. It put another drive in us to come out and do what we do.
Yeah.
It's time to re-up now. That's basically what I'm sitting here saying.
Yeah,
it's time to re-up.
You might not get the huge, like you're going to get Twisted Pixel's going to have something. I think Moon Studios is going to have something. Battletoads, I don't think is going to be a big type game. I think it's.
I'm sitting here saying, I don't care how they do it. I don't care how they do it. It's time to re-up. That's basically what I'm saying.
And I'm going to end it with this right here. And actually, Tim, and I'm just being honest, because I'm a consumer first, and and I don't mind calling Microsoft up for their faults. We shouldn't be seeing games. We didn't see Quantum Break at 2 other E3s.
Yeah, not only that, we seen it at what was it, Gamescom or whatever it was.
I'm just saying.
We seen tons of Quantum Break.
It's gonna be the 3rd goddamn E3 or whatever the fuck. Like what we're saying is that games like Quantum Break we should be seeing right now on clips hearing about Tomb Raider. We know it's coming out this year, but we should be seeing.
Seeing something.
What I'm in the grand scheme before we close this conversation off is that I hope that Microsoft E3 is not built around games that we've been knowing is coming out for the last 2 or 3 goddamn years.
Yeah.
That's all. Fable Legends, we seen that 3 years ago. Like you know.
Okay, I agree with that. I agree with that statement. But I like hell. I want to see Crackdown, Scalebound, Rise of the Tomb Raider.
Why can't you see it now?
Why can't you see it now?
Well,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like
because you blow people away with it at E3.
Not really, man. Not really.
You can't blow me. Hey, crap! You can't blow me away with something that
I was already blew away 2 years ago.
Well, yeah. Well, how can you be blown away from a CGI trailer? I'm just saying. I want to see.
No.
Look what they did with Halo 4, and I've gone over this before.
You got that legal standing again. All right, next question.
We're gonna have to get into that that's gonna be another topic for the show, man. We're gonna have to get into that.
Your boy got that legal standing again, man.
What's not a legal standing? I want to see all that shit at E3. I want to see stage demos.
I don't.
They're gonna push the 5 IPs. That's for sure. They're gonna show.
That's what I want. There's 4 to 5 IPs that I don't know about.
Let me just say this.
That I can get excited about.
Okay, why would they show it before that? Okay, that's great. But the masses tune into E3. That's your biggest thing.
But
you want to get those views, right?
But crap. We heard these. Listen, we already been mind blown by a lot of these.
I haven't been.
I understand. I mean, we can see gameplay of Scalebound because we haven't really seen any gameplay of Scalebound.
And I want to see the Crackdown stuff. I heard that's going to be.
Okay, but we haven't seen gameplay of Crackdown neither. But what I'm sitting here saying to you is, we know these games is coming. It shouldn't be based off the whole show. Keep that to a minimum. And then blow us with something else. I want to see 4 to 5 new IPs that I do not know nothing about that I can get excited about.
Does that constitute?
And that's nothing. That's nothing wrong. That's nothing wrong with me sitting here saying that.
Oh no.
You know what I'm saying? I don't want you to misconstrue. I mean, if you want to see that stuff, that's fine.
No.
But there's a lot of people. There's a lot of people that don't want to see it.
Yeah, but
you know what I'm saying?
I understand where you're coming from, but are you okay with, like, you know, if the 5 IPs, 3 of them are
3 of them can be platformers. I don't care as long as they're good platformers.
Okay, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying. In general, I want to see something new.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's basically what I'm saying.
Oh, and I can guarantee you're getting a 12-minute presentation of Halo 4 or 5. I guarantee you.
You're going to get a presentation of Quantum Break.
And that shouldn't be because they got third party up there with them. You see what I'm saying? So you looking and you mixing it up, man. It's like, come on.
Yeah, well, we're going to also see that terrible new Call of Duty game. God.
Yeah.
I'm not.
All right. And that's a good 10, 15 minutes.
You know, at the $10 and stuff, at the end of the day, I just hope that Microsoft, if they time they sitting all these games, that's all. Like, these games that we've been talking about to this day, we heard about them in 2013. I'm just being honest.
I just think they could have. I think they got lazy. They could have been showing something all year long about it. You know what I'm saying?
2013. You know, I'm already hyped. I shouldn't be seeing games from 2013 on the E3 stage at 2015. Or we done seen these games, or we done it something new. But
you also got
2 years.
Gamescom too, though. You got Gamescom too. You know, they're not going to just blow their load on E3. They're going to have to save something for Gamescom.
Yeah. Well, all that's well and good. You know what I mean? But, you know, like, regardless of, like, I don't care for that shit that Sony shows. I don't like those little indie, but their fans like them. You know, so I'm not. What I eat don't make.
Do they really, or do they just?
You know, like I told you before, I seen this one guy playing this little beta game that put me having a fucking blast, like a fucking pig and shit. I don't like it. You know what I mean? But again, like,
hey, can we do another, like, what, 1 or 2 questions?
Yeah, just do a couple more questions because we're going off.
So Rick at the goddamn fucking Xbox unveiling back in fucking March, April. We shouldn't be seeing it again at E3.
Amazio, we don't even got time to get into your question because I'm going to tell you right now, man, you can talk all you want about the Fat Princess and the Terrorwaves. Nobody wants to see that shit. Hey, Daytripper N7 says, do you guys think Microsoft should drop the routine Call of Duty E3 showing?
Yes,
he says,
but they won't.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, check this out. The reason why they won't is because it's still the biggest game.
Yeah, they're
and
not.
You gotta have, and E3 is the biggest stage, the biggest commercial, and you want Xbox to be associated with the biggest game.
And they're gonna have exclusive DLC, all that.
Yeah, and they're gonna have the time DLC and stuff, and Xbox is still gonna be the #1 player. Even though I'm not gonna get this one because look, and let me ask you guys this question: you guys aren't big Call of Duty fans like I am. I've bought every single one, right? But look, you have 3. Yeah, you have 3 studios, right, making these games now. Why are all the studios making fucking future warfare games? Why not have one do modern, one do like World War II, and one do maybe future? Because you want to mix it up a bit. Like this game sounds to me like it's just kind of a mix between Advanced Warfare and Black Ops 2. Look,
it's gonna be.
Yeah.
Only thing I'm telling you, Call of Duty got to the point now where it's just really it's almost like basketball and football.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's got to the point to where It's just new maps. You might as well just put out the dang on DLC and keep it pushing. You know, because it ain't really nothing dramatic that they doing to it, man. Not at the end of the day.
I agree with Crap said. I think they should have like maybe like a Vietnam or like some kind of setting.
The first Black Ops that dabbled around in Vietnam was great, and then the World at War, that one in World War II, because nobody covered the Pacific like that, where you were in Japan and stuff. That was great. Call of Duty 4, Modern Warfare 2, both really good. You know what I'm saying? It's like, and now they're all like Ghost was future from Infinity Ward. Then you had Advanced Warfare. That's future. Now Black Ops 3, it's future. Stop it. You know what I'm saying?
If you want a future game, put it this way. I want Titanfall 2. If that's where we're going.
Yo, Titanfall 2, we started to revisit again. I got news. I've been playing that for the past couple nights. That game is as silky.
You should have messaged me. I would have got on.
Hey, listen, my door is always open, Crap. You jump right
you got to message me, man. I'll get on there, too.
Yeah, I'll hit you up. Actually, Show, a lot of people were asking for you to get back on there. People be missing you. They do.
Just message. I'm always on. Just send me a message. I'm always on.
Just to give Respawn the credit due, after playing a lot of Call of Duty, playing a lot of this and that, Titanfall is by far, mechanics-wise, that shit is perfect.
Yeah.
It is perfect. I'm telling you, it's nothing missing from that game. Nothing. You never
Except the single player.
Well, yeah, but I mean, and I know you guys care about that, and I think it's a nice thing to have. It's kind of like when you go to that McDonald's that also has the playground attached to it. You don't need that shit, but it's nice when it's there. You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't need to really be there. You're fooling yourself if you buy Call of Duty and you're like, I only bought it for that 8-hour campaign. I agree with you, Crap, and I listen to your show, and I do think you have a valid point, but to a certain extent, because when you buy Call of Duty, you're playing multiplayer, and that's what Respawn, Vince Zabella, he's the one, and he really created the reason we're all invested so much into this FPS, and he knew what he was doing, and that's why he said.
But don't you guys think?
Why are you going to waste so much money and time on something that people play a third of the story campaign?
Because a third of 30 million is still a significant chunk, in my opinion. That's what those Call of Duty games
the thing is, this is my whole point. It was the first installment of this game.
Right.
You got to give a story a history.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
There was kind of.
And you got to be able to play out to what happened to make them be there. You see what I'm saying? So it was nothing built up. It was just
the thing is,
on there and play.
But Show, I want you to just backtrack in your memory to when before Xbox One came out, when we were playing 360 and we were playing like, I don't know, Modern Warfare 3 came out or whatever, and we were playing. I remember a bunch of people online were like, yo, why do they even have a single player? Why is there even a single player? We're all jumping. So people listen to that, then they give it to us, and then we're like, hey, how about that single player? You know what I mean?
That's a valid point, but this is the first installment of this game. You see what I'm saying? So that's basically what it comes down to. I mean, if you want to do that later, that's fine. After you don't build up
but
the whole premise of it.
Once you give an inch, you got to give a foot. So listen, what I'm saying, you can't give them a single player and then be like, hey, remember that? Scrap it. No, then
but the thing is, it has to come with a. I guarantee the second
welcome to the first 24-hour Big Gamer Small Talk podcast. Let's go into hour 3, guys. Here we go. Hey, here's a great thing from this dude. His name's Lee Cox. He says Microsoft is quiet because of the backstabbing game media. Everything newsworthy that Microsoft puts out gets twisted and contoured to fit some gaming media journalist's agenda. Fuck the gaming media for real. IGN, GameSpot, Polygon, Eurogamer all need Microsoft, not the other way around. Without quote-unquote Xbone, these fucking sites wouldn't have jack shit, and they would be bankrupt within a week. Xbox One is the most talked about device on the planet for a reason, and he's 100%
especially
right.
Over here.
Well, who is that?
Especially over here.
His name's Lee Cox.
Great.
Talk that talk,
Get
bro.
on Twitter, bro.
That was
Talk
great.
talk.
That was a great fucking comment. Way to drop in, drop out with that comment.
That was the best answer to that question.
Yeah.
I got a question. I got a good one from Insane XXL. Now that Bloodborne is out, do you think it's over for the Xbox One?
Good, man. Good.
I guarantee Lord Clicker believe it.
That's that Tropico 5.
No. It's not over for the Xbox One because look, if Bloodborne had sold, like let's be honest, it's going to sell the most within the first week. I'm not sure when did it come out, a couple weeks ago.
Yeah,
If it would have hit 1 million, Sony would have been the first to toot that horn because they love to do that. So we know that it hasn't hit 1 million because
they haven't done shit.
A lot of people ain't into that type of
I
game.
tried saying that. No matter how much the media tried to hype that shit up, people are smarter than that. Thank God. Even though when I was at GameStop, they were trying to push that damn game on poor people. They were like, "Hey man, you want this is the next big game right here? This Bloodborne." And I was like, "Look, I don't like Dark Souls." And they're like, "Oh, that's a Dark Souls game." I'm like, basically, if you like hitting yourself in the nuts, man, that's the game for you. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it's not for everybody. It's not. So,
Hey, Dark Souls 2 out.
Yeah, it's remastered.
And you don't hear no hype around that, man.
No, nobody.
You know what I'm saying? Nobody talking about that, but Bloodborne was talked about.
It's a niche game, I'm not knocking it. It just wasn't for me. I looked at it and I was going to buy it just to live stream it. No thanks.
Okay, another question.
Hey, you would have only live streamed it for like about 10 minutes, and then you would have been done.
Put it this way: the first hour in Halo 5 sales will probably surpass Bloodborne.
Yeah.
I'm expecting huge. Hey, and not only that, I'm expecting a 1 terabyte Halo 5 specific console as well to be.
Yeah.
1 terabyte. Shit, we did that.
1 terabyte, bro.
I just hope it's not limited because it probably is going to be limited. But I with Sunset Overdrive, I felt that would have been much better if they had that as their console.
Can I damage control real quick as well with that? Look, a lot of people will bring up the numbers and they'll bring up NPD or whatever, but we're almost 50% digital now, and NPD doesn't track digital. So to really say, oh well, it only sold this much, or it's a little bit misleading. I mean, who knows? It could have, like, let's face it, Xbox One at the time of that game coming out was at what, 6 million sold. So if it sold 500,000 copies, that's a significant share. If it sold 1 million copies, that's fantastic. You know what I mean?
I'll give you this much. I actually talked to an executive about that in direct messages, and they said the sales. This is verbatim. The sales were okay, not likely a sequel. That was their answer. So, for me, that's sad, and
Yeah, I do too. I wouldn't mind.
I don't know what the fuck Xbox fans were thinking. I mean, that's a great game. I mean, but I was a little disappointed when I heard that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Did it lose money?
I just heard the sales were. My question was, it was actually, we were talking back and forth about, and I just said, I put up a hypothetical question. Like I said, I would have asked, how did Sunset Overdrive do, and would you expect a sequel? And the answer was, Sunset. This is the exact answer. Sunset Overdrive did just okay. We put it in the wrong time. We put it in the wrong slot, which meant November, and with a bunch of AAs that overshadowed it. Sequel. Yeah,
dude. That's why I was trying to tell y'all. That's the reason why Quantum Break got pushed next year.
I did do the survey from Microsoft months ago about what I would want to see in a sequel. So I'm hoping that maybe they would.
I hope we get a secret. I mean,
a sequel.
But the dropping of the price to $49. I don't know. Like I said, I don't understand why that game wasn't.
I just think it was the time. I mean, you had Call of Duty coming out. You had a whole bunch of other little stuff. Assassin's Creed. There was a lot coming out that catch people right away.
People are more likely to spend their money on a known franchise.
Best to push new titles out at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Where it's nothing coming out.
You had game media like Video Gamer for impressions saying that the game's boring, and and NeoGaf was killing it. I don't know. It's a couple of sites
give that, and Forza Horizon 2 like 2 out of 10 or something.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't see how do you get away with that, like, and be on Metacritic? Like, you're a professional,
I don't get it either.
And you never see that on the Sony exclusives. You know what I mean? I mean that some of those scores really killed Forza Horizon 2, which could have been in the 90s. I thought.
My favorite to just show the level of biases. Even the sites that gave The Order a 5 out of 10, then immediately after their 5 out of 10 article, had another article posted that was like, well, we didn't really mean it.
That was IGN. And they're like, you're not crazy. Yeah. You're not crazy if you like the.
If you like it, we get it. Don't worry about it.
Hey, Mr. Joe Blaze says, did you guys see that The Order was on sale at GameStop for like $35?
Yes. The sales must not be good for that. I mean, that can't even.
It's not even really a game. it's a movie.
Yeah, when I saw that walkthrough, I knew it was trouble. I was like, people are not gonna like this. I'm like, and they try to defend that, and then they said reviews don't matter, and now reviews matter because Bloodborne did well. But the fact of the matter is that game wasn't a good game. You could see
that game gonna always be known as the game that brought out in gamers racism. Forever, that's gonna go down in history as the game that everybody hated on. It was racism for that game, bro. Goodness. Every time I think about that game, I'm gonna think of racism. Man. I'm like, man, that game was hated on.
I'm a gamer. Yeah, I
mean, that game was a slow walk. That was a slow walk to a QTE to another slow walk to a conversation.
Yeah.
10 minutes of gameplay. I mean,
it was like the slow walks. The slow walks was to kill time, was what it was.
Yeah.
And the same thing with
taking the scenery.
Cutscenes. Yeah. It's like you can look at shit, but you can't touch it. You know what I mean? It's like it was.
Hey, you know what? I blame Sony fans because they were so hyped up on graphics and resolution that everything else didn't matter to them. You know what I'm saying? I don't have comments where they were sitting here like, give me 1080p or nothing. I wouldn't even buy that game if it's not 1080p. And I'm sitting here like, okay, well, what if it don't have all the rest of the stuff? Like, good, fighting mechanics, storyline, this, that, and the third. 1080p. And, it's just, I just think they lost it, man, when it comes to a complete game, making a complete game and enjoying everything that the game has to offer.
And again, you didn't see a lot of Sony fans put the game down. Again, they're playing their party line. I mean, to be honest, if that game came out on the Xbox, I'd call it the way it was. I think you would too. I think everyone
I wouldn't have bought that trash, man.
You'd be like, this is just.
I would have bought it. I would have bought it because I did buy Rise, but Rise would have.
No, Rise wasn't that bad.
Here's the thing, right? Like Rise. I knew that was going to score bad because people trashed it at E3 because they thought it was nothing but QTEs.
Right.
And it wasn't like forced QTEs. Now, there was some like the end boss or a couple here or there. But now, there was forced QTEs throughout the whole damn order, and nobody really criticized that, so I didn't understand the thinking behind that. Like, there's this huge double standard.
Listen, when I guess people really, to me, the worst thing about Rise, I love the story, Road Roadshow was epic, is that they didn't let you upgrade or change your weapons. So you literally went through that whole game with the same shield and the same sword. Had they gave you different weapons, dual weapons and fiery weapons, it made it, the action, the fighting would have been, to me, been more fun. You know what I mean? And I hope they.
I think I feel different about it because I understood what they was trying to do. They was trying to keep it.
But still, they could have gave him an axe or something.
It could have gave him something else, like a different type of, weapon.
You banging your doom, banging.
But I will say this: the plus about it, you was not bored with people that not just walking through and then seeing cutscenes. It was action. It was fighting all around you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, you tried it a little bit, but every 5 or 10 steps or whatever it was, you had somebody to fight and kill if you wanted to.
All right. Well, we can just make this the last question right here, fellas. I guess I don't know. I'll guess you guys. XCrow96. Unless you see one better than this.
Crow, my boy.
Yes.
What's up, Crow?
You guys think that this generation would take off by the end of 2016?
Do you mean like game-wise? Because it's already the most successful in sales for the consoles.
No. I guess you mean, I don't think he's talking about sales. I think he's talking about next generation. Oh, I'm sorry, too. We got to do one more. This was what I wanted to ask. I lost the question, but I don't think he means like far as sales of this thing you're talking about as far as like maybe no more cross-generation development. Maybe we're going to see that true next generation,
Well, we're starting to see that already because we're seeing The Witcher 3, Batman. These games aren't on last gen stuff. So, Halo 5, Forza 6 isn't going to be on last gen stuff. All this stuff is going to be well, I guess Tomb Raider is, but most of this stuff isn't going to be on last gen hardware. So I think we're starting to see that already. You're still going to see Madden. You're still going to see Call of Duty and that kind of stuff on last gen, but the Battlefield or the Battlefront, and look for that because I'm predicting this now, and I'm not an insider, that Microsoft might have a timed exclusive deal for something with that because they have, they have an official Star Wars Battlefront controller, licensed controller Yeah, it looks awesome. I mean, I think it's cool. So I would look for them to maybe, whether it's content or maybe a 3-6 month exclusivity deal, something along the lines. Because look at the exclusivity they've had with them within the first little bit. They had Peggle 2, Plants vs. Zombies was timed. They get the maps first on Battlefield. EA Access, you could play Battlefield Hardline, like 10 days early or whatever it was. So they have a good relationship. Look for that. And it's a multiplayer game, which favors Xbox. So
okay, I'm sorry. I just want to ask this one question before we get that out of here. It's really two, but we're going to squeeze this one here. From Xbox God, how long do you think that Tomb Raider will be on the Xbox One before it goes to PlayStation 4?
If it goes to PlayStation 4, I'd be pissed, so I don't think it's ever going to go there because I publish it and co-fund it and all this other stuff. If it's going to go to the competition, it doesn't make sense to just buy yourself.
Yo, Zaire, do me a favor. Just write back to him real quick and be like, how's Dead Rising 3? How's that doing on PS4? That's all you got to do.
I have an actual bet with somebody on this. I have, you guys know Major Yoke. I call him Yoke because I beat him in every bet, and he still talks about me to this day every day. But I have a $100 bet that it's 6 months. He says in 6 months he'll be paying Tomb Raider after.
But listen, I'm just going by what Major Nelson, no Major, I'm sorry, what Aaron, what's the motherfucking name? Phil Spencer said. They're not going to spend money on
something they're not going to own.
To make it better on a rival platform.
And he compares it directly to Rise, Dead Rising 3.
The Rise and the Rise and the Dead Rise.
And he says their partnership is timed, meaning this game, just like with he says they don't have any control over Dead Rising 6.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
My opinion, not to just interject, but my opinion is that it's going to be exclusive to PC and Xbox.
Oh yeah. It's going.
And if it does, I do think if it does come to PS4, you're talking like a year and a half, 2 years.
Like I said,
a long time.
They said they bought the game to compete against Uncharted. You know, and the last question right there, so I don't think it's going to the PS4, but it will be on PC. And the last question right here, we can do for the day, we close the show. What engine would you like to see, what engine, would you like to see implement DirectX 12?
Crytek.
Yeah, but I'll say Crytek too.
Yeah, Crytek.
That CryEngine is like,
Yeah, I would love to see it.
I don't know whatever engine they use for fucking 2K. That's one shit. Oh no!
The Call of Duty engine, whatever, because they're still using that old ass Quake engine.
Yeah, still the old.
I would say the Havoc engine. I like that. The Havoc engine.
Okay, yeah.
You know, but that's what they're using for Witcher 3, if I'm not mistaken. The Havoc engine, aren't they? But whatever.
If you watch this whole podcast, man, God bless you.
Yes, thank you. But listen, ladies and gentlemen, we're out of here. Special guest, Tim Dog, you're always welcome to come on the show.
Hey, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, guys. You're great.
I go right on the record and say you held your own, so you know, bring it to ask,
thank
bro.
you, guys.
You got the time, bro. You're more than welcome to come on the show.
So much.
You are an official member of the Big Game of Small Talk podcast. Thank you, bro. Guys, we'll see you guys next week. And to the 156 of y'all that's watching us live, thank you, Real Talk. It's your boy Next Gen 720 Showstopper. Crap with his fucking fanboy ass. The Mooch. We're out of here. See you guys next week.